Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday. It's 8:30 p.m. Texas time. You know what it is. Freestyle Friday. Patriots come into town. We're ready to lock and load. I was this close. You might have saw me pose. I was this close to bringing up Hoodie Knicks. Want to chill. Got another week. But I was this close. I'm telling you right now, I was this close. Too soon. Week three. Week three. Let's get the show started.
BJ Nix, are you here?
Present.
Present. Spoonie, Timothy Spoonie.
Present, sir.
Margaret and Mary. Do we have a Margaret and Mary?
Yes. And the margaritas.
All right. Class here. We're ready. Let's go.
Yes, let's go.
Okay.
And the Cowboys have it. It's Parsons on top of it.
And here we are, heading into week 4. Week 4 on deck. Hopefully everyone's had a fantastic weekend. I got shut up with a bunch of stuff Wednesday at the doc's office. I've been popping the meds that were prescribed to me, and I'm back as good as I can be. Salute to everyone that held it down through the week. Appreciate everybody that reached out as well. Glad to be back in full motion for sure. And man, here we are to kick off the weekend. Thank y'all for stopping by and kicking it with us. Of course, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and also programming alert as well. For whatever reason, if you happen to be catching us on Facebook or you're catching us on Twitter, it is not populating your comments here. And I've kind of seen after the last couple of weeks, I'm seeing comments on that side. So here, if you want to be seen, you want to be heard for sure for us while we're live, here's what you got to do. You got to come over to Pick Six Sports on YouTube, hit that sub, jump into the chat, and we got you. It is the return of the Freestyle Friday, of course. We have the link dropped in here. You're able to join us, hit the link, phone, whatever the case may be. You can join us throughout the show as we get into it and talk about it. So tell a friend to tell a friend. Again, my Facebook and my Twitter people and Twitch, and we're also on Twitch as well. Come over here and we can definitely see your comments and everything. And join the crew and join the gang on this side. We got a great crew in here always commenting and everything else. With that being said, getting that up out the way, no Hoodie Knicks tonight. It's only week 3. I put it on pause. I had to talk with myself in the mirror. Self, chill, cool. With that being said, I was this close. Oh, I was this close. Mr. Old Man, how's your week going? How you doing this Friday, brother?
I mean, it's been a good week. Anytime you get to talk Cowboys football with 4 of my favorite people in the whole chat, it's always exciting, especially after last week. That was rough. We talked about that Wednesday, out of our system, that bad flavors out of my mouth, and I'm ready for a new appetizer, new dinner, new buffet, whatever. This weekend, we're going to get a fresh start. We got college football, a lot of good matchups. We got the Cowboys versus the Patriots. A certain guy that a lot of you know for eating is coming back to our house, so it'll be kind of cool to see that reunion. It's good. I'm glad football's here. Also, I don't know about where you guys live, but in Atlanta, it's been in like the low 80s, high 70s. Like we have fall weather. Like it's nice after a hot summer. So I'm happy, man. Life is good.
Read between the lines there. Oh, we're still out here in the 90s. Okay?
Yeah, we're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're still in the 90s.
That is
Mary
nice over
also
here.
had to, look, I wasn't the only one down. Mary Wednesday, a little under the weather, bouncing back. Mary this
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah, me and Nick, we were talking about how we were both like Cowboys had a bad week, and so did we. We were both down. Mine wasn't as serious as him, but I was out. Like I was struggling. I couldn't keep food down until just yesterday. So feel a lot better. I'm glad that it's feeling good because I already have tickets to the Patriots game. I'm going with some friends, so I'm looking forward to this game and looking forward to a bounce back.
Awesome. Spoonie, how we doing, my friend?
I'm kind of pissed off at the fans, but I'll address that later on tonight.
I'm an innocent man.
Hold on.
Yeah,
we gotta get the fan police out here. We're going to get the fan
Oh,
police
no.
out here, Spoon.
Look, have them out for later on tonight. We're definitely going to address that. And, you know,
All right,
as we all know, there's a big flood in New York City. So I went out for a swim. I met Aquaman. Little Mermaid was there. You know, I said, Ariel, me, you can never be. I understand, but it's not gonna happen. You know, and then the Swan Princess said, "How you doing, ma'am?" You know, all over Brooklyn. So I was able to meet a lot of the famous sea creatures and stuff like that, man. It was great. It was great, and I'm here with you guys, so just blessed to be here.
10-4, my guy Dom. How we doing, Dom?
Hey, I just want to make it known that as an official member of Pick Six Sports Media, this is my first season to rock with you guys on air. And I am still undefeated when with y'all during the week on Friday. I'm 2-0. So it's my fault that I wasn't with you guys last Friday.
Damn it, Dom.
Yeah,
Damn it.
Damn it, Dom.
Now that you bring it up.
Yeah, now that you mention it.
No more weddings. No
PSA,
more weddings.
Dom White's family members. If you want to get married, you have to do it not in football season. And if you insist on doing it in football season, Dom will not be a part of the ceremony. Just let you guys know.
Maybe
These are the rules, guys.
Saturday's not the best you can hope for Dom during football season,
Only the off week.
Yes, agree.
Professor O, love them late nights. That late night stream.
Yes, sir. What's up, man? Good to see you.
Well,
Good night,
in the
Trey.
building. All right. Well,
Never pull out Shaq. Okay. All
Yeah,
right, cool.
yeah. Oh, strike one for Dom. Oh man, strike one for Dom. All right, Dom. Trending on thin ice apparently now. With that, look, Jay Money said, "Hey, don't miss shows." I mean, look,
I'm back.
we're 16-1 till we're not.
That means
I'm actually really glad Shaq's here. Shaq is a Vikings fan. So
Oh,
I'm really interested in talking shop with you because
Mm-hmm.
depending on how your week goes, you guys might be selling and try to get that Caleb Williams guy.
hey,
So
maybe y'all got
you have a linebacker that you want to trade us. We can talk shop. So we're open to doing business.
Well, a big thanks because the Cowboys in this. Hey, we'll just release him. Getting back to the practice squad. Strike 3. Ridgeway strike 1. Isaiah Land strike 2, and now Mr. Devin Harper strike 3 as he does get claimed by the Cincinnati Bengals. So now the Cowboys moving forward, for all intents and purposes, only have 3 linebackers on this roster with the expectation that Malik Jefferson is going to get called up. Let's start and jump in right there before we get to the offensive line talk. There was a question mark, right, if they would add a linebacker at some point, maybe see it, get Harper back on there. Unequivocally at this point, they are going to have to add a linebacker now. Yes, no?
Yeah, they have to now. So the conversation is that Malik Jefferson is going to get some play now. He's starting to get healthy. He's been on the practice squad. So he was going to be a practice squad elevation either way. But they wanted to bring Devin Harper back so that they have more depth in the practice squad room. But I still feel like even if they would have brought him back on the practice squad, they were going to look at the market. Who's available? And we kind of set the parameters Wednesday night. But for those that don't know, with the Cowboys having a lot of big looming contracts with CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Mike Parsons, they're probably not going to go trade for like a Patrick Surtain Jr. or somebody like that. I know the Broncos are in tank mode right now. They look really bad. but he's probably not a target guy for us because we're going to be taking on additional high value, high salary cap guys. So what the Cowboys are probably going to be targeting is somebody who maybe is on a rookie deal, is in the third or fourth year of that. If they were a former first round pick, that's an extra plus in their, for the Cowboys mindset and what they're looking for. But think of guys like Patrick Queen for the Baltimore Ravens, who doesn't have a fifth year that was picked up.
Oh, I like that.
Former first round pick. Kenneth Murray for the Chargers. He's probably more likely just because the Chargers are 0-3 or 1-2, sorry, and are kind of in that are we in, are we out type of mode. So depending on how things go for the next 3 or 4 weeks for them, because you have a October 31st deadline for that trade deadline this year. So that might be a trade target, and it doesn't have to be a guy that is coming up on the final year. Maybe he has 2 years of team control, like maybe the 2021 draft class, something like that might be somebody you look at too. But yeah, they have to do something, whether it's scouring or scavenging through practice squads for other teams, like maybe a Rashawn Evans who plays for the Eagles on the practice squad, or looking at a Deion Jones, or Kyle Van Noy was just signed. But somebody in the free agent market, they have to bring some additional depth to that room. We have 2 guys right now. Obviously, you have DeMarvion Overshown, and he's going to be a piece next year. But this year, you got to do something.
Yeah, I mean, those are definitely the old facts, as they say. It kind of goes back to a little bit for me last year, right? We talked about adequate NFL depth at the wide receiver position, and right now the Cowboys do not have adequate NFL depth here right now at linebacker. Again, I'm not here to throw out the baby with the bathwater when it comes to the ball part. LB, I do think they need to stop playing with LB on the edge. I think they need to get him into one part. One part's going to his fourth start, right? And for me, when it comes into that range, like you need them to build some cohesiveness together in that middle. Stop moving LVE around, man. Let them work on their communication. Let them play. Let them get to what they're doing and build some consistency there in how they're going to play off of each other and do those things. So, yeah, for me, I think that's step one. But you have to, Mary, we got to go get another body in here, though.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we've been talking about even before the season started. And it wasn't a pressing issue after we saw the first 2 games and how they were playing. But now that more has happened, and like you said, with Devin Harper being gone, it's a huge, even more of an issue than we thought before. So, and they haven't done anything about it all week. So it's kind of nerve-wracking.
And here's what they did to us. As I'm trying to kind of creep myself back in there, get there. And then Thursday, right? We hold our breath after last Thursday, right? Tyler Biotish, Trayvon Diggs injury. And we get through the practice. It's all good. And then, look, don't call me to work. And then after work, fire me. Okay? That's all I'm saying. And then you get through the practice like, hey, by the way, Harper, we're going to release you. You know, and then okay, well, now I got to get out here and talk a little bit because now we got to get into that mode, obviously. Because now he's gone and try to go through the process. But boy, Dom, talk about a terrible return on some draft capital there, right? Former 6th-round pick, and you ended up getting a total of 6 games out of him?
Yeah, that's awful. And, it's funny. I kind of had to chuckle and laugh whenever seeing the news about Devin Harper being released by the Cowboys because just 2 short days ago, all of the Cowboys content creators that we come to love and respect for what they do in this game, everybody was putting out things about Devin Harper needing to have that chance to be able to slide in and see what he has because in the preseason he did well. And whenever we were out there in camp, I thought he looked fantastic. He looked pretty fast. You really didn't want him flipping his hips and getting back in pass coverage, but definitely in run defense. And that's been our biggest issue right now is linebackers been able to have the discipline to stay home, not over pursue, and be able to hit the hole. And so and solidify the tackle. So the fact that you got a big, thick guy like him who can run, get on his horse, and then move forward, you think, all right, give him a shot. But here we are talking about Devin Harper, and then how are they going to solidify that spot by potentially bringing somebody in? So because they released him so late in this week, and then you got your showdown against San Francisco in the next week, we might be able to see the Cowboys make some moves to try to bring somebody in next week. But I still think it might be a little bit too early. The deadline is October 31st, Halloween. So you're just going to have to wait and see, because you got to let the rest of the teams around the league who are going to, find themselves out of contention to slide to the bottom and then offer up something. Instead of going for guys that can just fill the depth chart, I think they need to go out and make a splash and get a guy who's a proven linebacker in the NFL. But yeah,
Yeah,
it
and
was
the
good
one thing,
that draft capital.
yeah, the one thing I do like about it, right, is you look at in proximity here where you hate the early bye week in week 7, but it sets up the Cowboys here a little bit with the 3 call-ups now going forward from Malik Jefferson, and I think obviously we're going to
Mhm.
see him called up all 3 weeks prior
Right.
to the bye week. You get a chance, an opportunity to see where this linebacking core is, and that way, I'll say this: I don't think they're going to bring. I don't think they're going to bring a guy until after the bye week. Let me start there. I don't think they're going to bring anybody until the bye week happens, because that's a week before the trade deadline. I think they'll take the next 3 games, right? New England, Niners, and Chargers. They're going to look with Jefferson, see where Devon Clark come, see what see what they're working with there. I think at that point they'll look at it, address the room, and see what spectrum of kind of linebacker do they need to add to the team, right? We saw when they got rid of, and kind of going to cherry pick back to last year, they cut Ridgeway, he gets scooped. Cool. So then once they got to the trade deadline, they made a move for Hankins. If Ridgeway stays here, maybe they don't make a biggest move for Hankins. Now, I don't think we think that Harper was in that realm, although as we're talking about Jefferson and how good he was in the preseason, look, Harper was good in the preseason too. He didn't get opportunity on the defense. Right. So, I know there's some people like, well, it's Harper, it's fine. I'm like, well, you don't have adequate NFL depth, and we don't know what he could have been. He didn't get an opportunity. So I think for the Cowboys, they'll use the next 3 weeks with Jefferson coming up. Where does that look? What does that look like? And then what do they need to add? Do they make a trade? Do they just go sign a guy for some adequate NFL depth? What are they going to do within that spectrum? So in this case, the early bye week helps in that realm, just because you can have in perfect alignment, right? 3 call ups, everything else. And of course, ultimately, Harper's not here because your offensive line's been in shambles. We'll get to that in a second. And Harper's been called up 3 times, so you had to make a move and keep him here. And we'll get to that in just a second. Spoonie, you look at these linebackers. Oh, man. Look, we went through this with the wide receiver room last year. Now, look, the wide receiver room much more egregious, right? But Spoonie, man, I mean, what a bad timing of just giving up 220 yards and say, you know what? We'll just go to 2 linebackers, aka 3 with the practice squad. Ugh.
Yeah, it goes back to the conversation last season when you were talking about getting Voquan Smith, and here we are with the same situation. But I agree with a lot of you. I believe that they are going to make a move. I don't think the front office is going to have an off season the way they do, just to come into a situation like this with the linebacker situation and just put anybody in there or get somebody from the street. I think they are. I think they will go out there, explore their trade interests, look at some players who they've scouted and who they probably wanted to draft, and that individual is probably somewhere buried on the depth chart. And Will McClay loves them, and they want to bring him in. I know on Wednesday, Dom brought up some linebackers. I know I mentioned as far as trade. I also brought up Levante David, a veteran guy from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where there was talks about him, being off the Buccaneers roster. And so, for me, I would go to the veteran, because I know tomorrow Overshown, again, this was his spot. If he was playing today, I don't think we're having this conversation as much. You know what I'm saying? So I really do think they're going to go out there and make a trade for a player. Now, I know, BJ, listen, you're the Messiah, you're the visionary. I know you're saying by the bye week. The Spoonie here, I'm going to stir the pot, and I think it's going to come maybe sooner than the bye week. I'm talking about maybe before that 49ers game, just to get the guy in there, work him in during the bye week, get them full ready for after the bye week. So that's why I go at.
Okay. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, of course, it is the freestyle. And look, Overshawn, we knew it was a hit to us, right? And we talked about at that time we needed to add someone. Boy, I don't know if we realized it was going to be this big of a hit early on. Again, I'm not throwing out the baby with the bathwater with LVE and Devon Clark for sure, but man, that Overshawn injury looking worse and worse all the time. But with that being said, it's Freestyle Friday. We dropped the link. It's pinned up there. You can join us. And we got our first guest of the night, Mr. One-Handed Bandits in the building. One-Handed, how we doing this Friday, brother?
Yo, what's up, Nix? What up, y'all? Having a great night. Yeah, I'm really confused on the Devin Harper or the Harper getting released. It was a big gamble, and it shot us in the foot with Cincinnati taking him. Definitely need to get linebacker depth before the deadline for sure. And in my opinion, even if we win against New England, I think we need to do it before the San Fran game because our linebackers won't be able to. I don't think they're gonna be able. They're not gonna be able to go sideline to sideline if They're gonna make McCaffrey attack our edges.
Right.
Like, yeah, I think we need to make it quick. Don't wait till our bye, or like we did with Hankins, wait till the bye, the like very last day type thing. Make it before the San Fran game because linebackers are going to be very important in that game.
And one of the things, I want to make mention whenever I was mentioning like bringing the linebacker before the San Fran game, you realize that most guys traded aren't gonna, play that immediate game. So to me, it's get them in as early as possible so they can get acclimated to your program, your system, your philosophy, know your plays, and potentially have a guy that's a stud and a star become the leader as far as having that green dot. So you want them to have at least half the season to get prepared for the playoffs.
10-4. Hey, one-handed, don't go anywhere. I'm just going to drive you to the back channel. We're going to break up our next guest, and I'll get back to you. Okay, brother?
All right.
All right, cool. And with that being said, second guest of the night, no special introduction really needed. The one and only Aisha Morrison, double eyes I like to call her. How are we doing this Friday,
Can you guys hear me okay? Hey,
we
can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you fantastically now.
Okay. Hey, guys. I was not planning on talking no football today, but Matt hit me with the you want to come up, and here I am. He's my
Well, you had
friend.
to talk me off the ledge earlier, too, because I was pissed.
I know, because
It's hard out here in Cowboys land right now.
yeah, it's odd, right? It's just a weird place to be in. Me and Oath kind of talked off of off of channels and stuff like that, and it's just kind of crazy just look back and see how much the DeMarvion Overshown injury is just kind of starting to feel like a huge deal. Yeah, you guys were discussing linebacker and kind of some of the things that we may be looking at potentially moving forward. I mean, I think that you kind of missed Wanye and some of those guys in the box. I feel
0
like
snaps last week.
Yeah.
So Aisha, from somebody who sees him up close, when we think of safeties, right, we're thinking, well, Marquise Bell looks so small out there, but Wanye is 6'3", 217-ish. Like, he's a big safety.
Oh yeah.
You see him in the locker room and practices. So, and when we've seen him in the limited snaps, we've seen him at linebacker. Like, he looks more of the part than I think what you expect when you imagine a safety playing linebacker.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I definitely have learned too. Being around these guys, like, they always look smaller on the field. But yeah, I mean, someone like Wanye, I think you got to see them, like, especially in run defense. I've liked some of the things he's done in the box because he's so fast that it's difficult for those offensive linemen and stuff to get their hands on them. So I think I feel like you kind of missed some of that this past week. But as far as the linebackers, listen, dude. I don't know. Like, I don't even.
Can I toss a name out there to you guys that you might have to think about it for a second?
Can I call the police out here real quick? Oh no, not there. I'm sorry. Wait, let me call the police out on Armchair.
Not the cops.
No, yeah, Jalen Smith. No, stop.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm calling the cops here on Armchair, bringing up Jalen Smith and add to this death. I'm sorry, I gotta do that. Go right ahead. What you got for us?
Camera's falling on me. So in the same vein, though, I got shorter. Yeah, the camera fell off. In the same vein, though, of a possible reunion, somebody that makes sense that was here very recently and is on a practice squad right now, so you could bring him up by signing him to the active 53 is Jabril Cox. Do you say, hey, my bad? Just kidding. And obviously, we haven't seen him healthy in forever, but maybe they look at that depending on what the trade market looks like. He's younger, knows the system, immediately can come in and contribute if I'm just throwing it out there. I don't have any inkling that that's even a possibility, but maybe that's a reunion that might make sense.
I have.
Here's the. Go ahead, Aisha, and I'll go. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. No, I honestly, I have very few solutions. It's I mean, I think I obviously, your D line not playing very well last week made your linebackers look even more crappy.
Facts.
Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck
Yeah.
there.
Facts.
It was too many times your secondary was having to be having to make the tackle, and that's not normal. But oh, barnacles! Honestly, man, I mean, I asked Dan Quinn about this in the press conference, and he kind of didn't give me nothing. But I also think that it would be easier on our linebackers if we play people more straight up sometimes, man. Like just leave your size out there and let Hankins and let Mozzie get those reps. Like
Mm.
I think there were a couple times in that game, and also too we even saw it in the Giants game, first drive where he went small.
Yeah.
Went with a smaller lineup and we got gashed up the front. So I'm also not. I think yeah. I think obviously we want improved linebacker play, and the depth is kind of scary. But also too, I will say that some of the stuff that's been going on up there has been a little bit too exotic for me, my taste.
Too much stunning. You sunned into some big runs Sunday for sure. You know, here's the other thing too. Going back to Jabril Cox, so as you mentioned.
Please,
Dom.
Did he do it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Do the
yeah.
lights. Do the
No,
lights.
yeah.
whose
I'm
number is
on the
that?
bullies.
Is that
You know,
Sam?
no, that
No,
ain't
that's
Sam.
Jalen.
He's bringing up that
That's-
Jalen Smith.
That's
I know what
Jalen
he's doing
Smith.
over there.
That's Jalen Smith.
I don't think you get any better sideline to
Yeah.
sideline.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if you go sign, here's the thing: if you go pluck Cox off the off the practice squad, off the practice
Just
squad.
grab it. Grab Cox.
Yeah, right. And
I
but
need y'all
who
to
do you
be
cut?
loose from the
We starting
shackles
now.
of pause.
Man, hey, look, I'm weighed down by it. I'm trying, Aisha. I really am, but it's hard. But I mean, you got to release somebody at that point. He has to go to the 53, and they're even now because one of the questions I want to ask, if you're calling up because now with Hoffman being here and having that displace of Harper, who are you calling up and deactivating for Malik Jefferson this week?
You don't have to because you can elevate him as a practice squad.
Right, but you
He's
still
on
got to
the
make
practice
somebody
squad.
inactive. Right, but if you elevate him, you still got to make somebody inactive though for him to be able to active 46.
No, you can add him on. So practice squads don't impact your
You
active
just
game
changed
roster.
rules, right? Yeah.
Okay,
You guys,
got 3 times.
are confident with. I mean, I've just been hearing you guys say, that Malik Jefferson looked good in the preseason. Are you guys confident in his ability?
No, but
Yeah.
what do you got?
Dom,
We don't have any choice. Really.
We don't have adequate NFL depth at linebackers where we are.
Yeah.
It's just
Malik
where we are.
Yes, it
is
is.
Malik is Jalen 2.0.
oh,
That was
tater
literally
tots.
my
Oh.
comp when
Oh.
he was coming out, and
Ooh.
it was mostly about the vision. So I was a Notre Dame guy. I'm still a Notre Dame guy. I watched Jalen's every snap as a fighting Irish player, and the one thing that concerned me always was his vision. Does he really see it? His reactionary skills are great, but he's got to almost see it happen before he actually gets on his horse and go. And so he always looked good coming downhill, rushing. Notre Dame did a lot of Jalen at defensive end during practices. He was killing offensive linemen, and so they wanted to use him that way. But because of some injuries and whatnot, they really needed him to be that outside linebacker. So you saw him playing a lot in the slot and then moving him around. But he was never the green dot guy. Joe Schmidt was that guy for them, which, is kind of surprising. You would think a guy like Jalen being as great as he was, especially in his collegiate years, but he never was that guy for them. And then we saw what happened in the league. So once he got in the league and we saw what happened, and now Malik Jefferson is coming out of UT, it's like, same thing I saw. Great athlete, but never quite really had it. And so he came out early and really didn't go high. And so his career has been what it's been.
All right,
10-4.
guys. Who out there is available that's like a Sean Lee type, but with healthy knees, necks, and hamstrings?
Whew.
They don't exist, unfortunately.
Yeah,
That's a trade. They're in the open
RoboCop.
market.
RoboCop, maybe is RoboCop around? I don't, I mean, it's slim pickings. I mean, it's slim
It
pickings.
is like no,
I mean,
sorry,
we'll have to
sorry.
wait and see. Yeah, I'm gonna say we'll just have to wait and see what they do. It'll be interesting. Look, right now you're in a bad spot just because of the depth of three. And to Aisha's point, it's interesting that Wanya Thomas ended up, not getting any snaps last week in that realm. Maybe there's some of that to be had there. Maybe they do. Maybe they do add somebody prior to the bye week, but I feel like they're really going to.
Who's that?
No, it's not
Man,
me.
we are
It's-
Playing
it's-
video
it's-
games.
we got
I'm
both
sorry.
of
He's
them.
playing
Yo.
video games and he
Yeah, I was like, yo, but
Oh.
but maybe they do bring somebody. Maybe they do bring somebody in beforehand. But I just feel like it's going to be on the bye week. But I mean, we'll kind of wait and see. Let's pivot over here to this. The question of offensive line talk. Roy, I'll see you in the background. I'll get you up here in just a minute, brother. The curious question of Tyron Smith, right? So he was game time last week. And then he was fully dressed the entire time. And me and Mary was talking about this for everybody else got in here. It's like they kept cutting the camera over to him. He's suited and booted. Okay. He's standing there, no crutch, no nothing. You see him shaking his head. He's disappointed. So maybe the offensive line player, wherever the case may be, they don't put him in. So you feel pretty confident going into this week that, okay, he'll be ready to rock.
Yeah.
Then he doesn't practice. Then he's off to the side. And then today he's inactive. I feel like we're going to hear something Monday like he's about to maybe have to get a scope or something. I don't know. It's him. Look, we said it all along. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And now here we go into week 4 and he's missed 50% of the games. The curious case here. The one thing that I guess we can, let's start there. What's going on with it? Dom, come on, offensive lineman. Help me out here, brother.
Okay, so this is exactly why whenever I did all of my study a couple of years ago, looking at the draft, I'm Mr. 365 guy. I went and saw the Tulsa tape against Ohio State. Very first snap of the game, I see a guy kind of get a penalty. Second play of the game, he got beat. But from that point forward, Tyler Smith straight wrecked shop against Ohio State. You saw the power. So initially, I'm already like, this guy is going to be a guy that I'm a stash. He's going to be a sleeper for me. The rest of the season went by. He elevated his stock. It's like, all right, bring him to Dallas. Let him get some development behind Tyron, whom we know is going to miss some games. For me, Tyler Smith is a left tackle. Let him be a left tackle. Give him that job. Just fix it once for all. Let it be. Because we know, on average, Tyron is going to miss 3 games. And really, as of late, he's missed even more. But for 7-8 straight seasons now, this guy has been hurt. So, put him at left tackle. But it's kind of hard to do that right now because Tyler is coming back from a hamstring injury. And do you really want to move him out there to the left side as he's been practicing to be the left guard? Because honestly, with this Cowboys team, I think you really want somebody to solidify the inside. The last thing you really want to see Dak do is get the pressure right there in his face. So you hope that, with your left guard, Tyler, been able to be right there in the phone booth because they've had a problem at that spot when it comes from a functional strength standpoint since 2006. That's been a weak link on the line. So you don't want that pressure right there in the face. Early on, Biotish had a little bit of struggles with strength, but he's come along. But now he's injured. Is he going to play Sunday? Hoffman did okay. So you really want Tyler to be right there with Hoffman. You want him to be right there with Tyler Biotish, who is, going through his injury. And then what's going to happen at right guard? Is Zach going to be back this week? But when you have your starters back, that is a great 3 to solidify that inside. You can always help. It used to be way back in the day that the right tackle was the weakest link on the O line. Things have started to change because now people are putting their best pass rusher off that side. And we have a fortunate situation where we have Steele, who's been pretty good in his career on that side. But what you can do is you can help out that left tackle spot. So whether it's with the running backs chipping, running back stand in the backfield to help pass protect, or you can put a tight end on that side. So I know a lot of people in Cowboys Nation are probably going to want to see Tyler Smith go ahead and kick out. But for me, give Austin Richards a try. See what he can do out there at left tackle, or figure out something else. But do not move Tyler, even though I am the guy who has pitched the idea to finally let him be there. Unfortunately, this is not the year.
And Ron's asking the question for you, Dom. Is it just for this year? Because he thinks Tyler is a guard.
I know why people want Tyler as a guard. Like, it is what it is. But for me, I'd rather have him as my left tackle. But the fact that they did draft Austin Richards, and you think that if he can get the strength game underneath his belt and work on his foot quickness a little bit more, maybe he can be your future left tackle, because it is a nice spot that you got him last year in the 5th round. So you never know. But the idea is they're left side guys and they have versatility. So just see who pans out, who can be the best at the tackle spot, and then move the other guy inside. I still don't think Austin is going to be as good on the inside. I really want him to be a tackle.
Yeah, and we've kind of been on that throughout. Go right ahead. Oh,
yeah. I just have a quick question. I want to be fair. I do not want you to go on a long college football rant and give us names right now. But from what you've seen so far, do you think the reason I'm asking is, do you think this is going to be a strong offensive tackle class? Because if it is, we can keep Tyler Smith at guard forever. If it's not, then we should look at moving him and look at guards next season.
Asking McCullough's question about offensive linemen said, keep it short. All right, get comfortable, everybody. Go right ahead.
I'm just saying, I'm not expecting him to like rapid fire give his name. I'm just asking overall, is this looking like a strong offensive tackle class?
All right, here we go, and go.
I'll keep it short. I think the problem you're going to have could potentially be like the defensive end situation back in 2017 where we got Taco, where you have three to four offensive tackles that are elite in this class. But, coming into the season, they were great to elite, and all of them have performed well. So I think you're going to have 3 offensive tackles potentially go in the top 11, top 12 of this draft class. But then there is a gap. There's a drop off when you get to that 4th guy who plays for your Georgia Bulldogs. And do you really want him? Do you really want him?
I didn't ask for that reason.
And he's a right side guy.
I didn't ask for any reason in particular.
Right. He's a right side guy too. And so we're looking for a left side guy. So if you think you're going to get the Joe Waltz of the world, it's just not going to happen. So there's that major drop when you get to the 4th and 5th guy. I think there's going to be better value on the board. But you have always been a person that says Dallas has to figure a way to be able to get an offensive lineman that can pan out outside of the 1st round. You got to use that value somewhere else in other premium positions. But it still is a good draft class. I think you can get a nice interior guy on round 2 or 3.
Tyler Smith is our left tackle.
You said interior though. Interior.
Today in the back channels,
I did.
He bent the knee. He bent the knee on Bergeron.
Just so you guys know, full transparency, I don't mind taking an offensive lineman in round 1. I just don't want to feel like our entire line, if we have a hole, like we have to go to round 1 every time to plug it. Like you have to operate like other NFL teams and develop guys.
I'm with you.
But knowing the way things have went so far this year, with Zach Martin getting hurt, Tyler Biadasz getting hurt, Chuma Edoga getting hurt, Tyron Smith getting hurt, I'm like, maybe Matt Bergeron, if that really was the consideration between him and Mozzie, I'm like, maybe we should have went that route. I don't even know how he's done this year, but again, if that's the case, knowing how things played out, maybe that would have been a better pick. But there's still, plenty of time left for Mozzie Smith to elevate his game and be a force. But right now, offensive line has been a much bigger issue than defensive tackle. So in hindsight, that probably should have been the route we went. Even though I'm typically like, go for an edge rusher, go for any position but offensive line, so we don't always go that route. But I'll drink some Kool-Aid there and say, my bad. Absolutely go offensive line. Again, it's just want to see the best five together. And it was like, we're getting so close. Tyler Smith's almost back. And then it's like, oh, just kidding. Tyler comes back and 3 other guys are out. And then it's like, well, Tyron was the healthiest. He's the closest. So we should be good this week at least. And we will never see
I literally wanted to throw something at the TV screen when they kept showing him like fully dressed. I was like, why is he there fully dressed if they're not going to put him in? Like, you're getting killed out here. Are they waiting for Dak to die? What are they doing?
Right.
I wanted to add on to what Don was saying about, Tyler being the left guard right now, and that just being, it just is what it is for right now. Like, I definitely think he's a good left tackle and stuff, but you're kind of in a win now situation. Yeah. Furthermore, your division, most of their strength is their interior defensive lines from Washington, the Giants, and Philly. And so, I think keeping him there is going to make a huge difference for some of the things that, they want to do in the passing game and stuff too, to have time. But as far as Awesome, I can tell you there's a lot of people who are really high on Awesome. And he also too, I keyed in on him after, they drafted him, and I see him often and I make the time to see him, but he's put on size definitely since he got here. What was that, May? He's put on a considerable amount of size. I know, we always talk about the strength and stuff like that. I really think that might be the route, because Edoga, even though I saw Patrick and everyone posted that he's clear to go and stuff. Yeah, he's clear to go. But I think that shoulder, hyperextending his shoulder or whatever he did, I would bet he's going to wear a brace. I don't know how effective he's going to be. So
especially with Judon on deck.
Yeah, and I would just much rather go ahead and throw Awesome out there. I would much rather just, let's go ahead, see what he got, let him take his lumps. So then towards the, once we get week 8, week 9, he's confident. And also too, I think he has a good help buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that Tyler Smith has developed a lot, his awareness. And so, I think he'll be in a good position to help out the youngin if he needs to and stuff like that as well. So I really do. I think Awesome is the best move there, and just go ahead and let Tyler stay at left guard. But I will say, y'all, like, I don't know, these injuries have been real trippy, bro. Like, as far as how serious it's they're, I want to say the right thing. I just feel like it feels so serious. Like, every injury every week's just like, oh, he has an ankle, but it doesn't feel that serious. Like, I don't know if they're, again, we talked about, I don't know if they're just playing the long game and they're just like, okay, well, when have we been able to confidently go without Zach Martin? Like, TJ Bass wasn't perfect. Don't get me wrong. He's not perfect. Right. He still has a lot to learn. But I think it's just like, for one of the first times, it's like, if you don't have to, why wouldn't you? And even Mike, admitted that he was a little bit more conservative than what he maybe even needed to be, because I felt like those guys held up decently in pass pro last week, besides, from the left side a bit. So I don't know. I also think that they might be playing the long game in a very annoying way.
I felt that way too, Aisha. I'm sorry I had to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. I'm done, because I felt like I was talking a long time.
I actually did, like, Sunday while I'm watching it, I'm like, wah! But like, after I thought about it and calmed down, even though I was almost on my deathbed on Monday, I was like, I was like, it makes a little bit of sense, playing the long game, against a team that, technically maybe it's okay to lose to, and you don't want to force it in those situations. So I kind of felt the same way, that maybe they were doing that, and that made me feel a little bit better seeing Tyron on the sidelines. It was just such a tease seeing that side get beat, and then he's fully dressed on that side. And it's
I also think you would have, if he would have, Mike McCarthy, they kind of alluded to, I think we would have been a little bit more productive if Edoga was at guard and Tyler was at tackle.
Yes.
But because of how things happen, guys, like because of how things happened, it was impossible to do that in a way. Like it would be very strenuous to do that last minute. I think Mike McCarthy said he was still trying to figure out things the day of, like a few hours before. So
a lot of stuff happened late last week.
Yeah, and we were, as much as like that switch, I firmly believe that switch would have been beneficial. I think Dom mentioned, Nick, you mentioned Tyler is coming off of a hamstring.
Right.
You don't want to just put him out there on an island to just start. And then also too, you got to think about the install the week before. I mean, they're not getting any reps there. So yeah, it was a weird week, y'all. Like I mean, it was a tough week all the way around, y'all. So we'll see.
And here's the other thing too, and this goes back to like I think it was like the second week of camp. Everybody that they asked Tyler directly after a practice, and he was like, "I'm playing guard this year." That's what he said. He said it on the open mic, and they've stuck to those guns. And the one thing McCarthy has talked about was the continuity. Want to be in a particular way, and they've stuck to those guns. Here's what I would say: in pass pro, you have tight ends, you got running backs. You got a Lipke.
Yeah, absolutely.
You should have threw Chuma a bone a little bit over there. I think Edoga didn't do potentially bad in the run game. Those are the times where the passing was just atrocious, and you just didn't do enough to help him on that side. Now, with that being said, after this week, there's a Willetsko coming back. Right? There's help on the way, per se.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's that. So there's things.
He's got to show he can stay healthy, though, right? Like,
well, that's true too.
This is Tyron Smith and Matt Willetsko. Like every time they sneeze and they're on the practice squad, it's like this. This is them. Worst case scenario every time. It's never just like, oh, he's fine. He'll be back in practice tomorrow. That's like every single time. Like he was suited up in his gear. He suited up in his gear.
He did not know that was going to happen.
Back up again.
He's so close to playing, and then this is Tyron. Like,
y'all are going to jail.
The thumbs up. It's the thumbs up for me. It's the thumbs up for me because right now still got the damn Brave song.
I did not know that was going to happen. At least I didn't. I had no idea that was going to happen. Okay.
I just was waiting for a break to get that in there because that's how it feels. And then we have the chat that set it up perfectly. The chat that set it up perfectly, where he said, "Feels like since last Thursday the universe hates the Cowboys." And
flag on the play. Flag on the play.
Hey, Robert said I got to hit the lights on that one. He said I got to hit the lights.
Going to jail.
Spoonie, you live over there, man?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, he's got some feelings. He's got some stuff to get out.
Just making sure. Real quick, because we do have to pivot over to the actual game, right? They add Billy Price, guy, center guard combo. 57 starts in this league. I mean, look, at this point in time, right, within the spectrum of in between week 3 and 4, I mean, cool. It's something there, in the background to have just in case. Back to Aisha and what you were talking about, though, just seeing Bass be an undrafted guy and what he's given us thus far, godsend, right? And how he's been able to play, with Martin being out and doing his job and in the times he's had to play, period. And even, a smidge of play for Austin Richards. Is encouraging. Let me, the last question on offensive line here, I want to pivot, and then we go there. One head, I see I got you coming up. Roy, if you want to come back in, I got you up too. Is that, do you think the Cowboys are being coy here? Because magically, it was very much so. Guess what? Chubadoga, he's fine. Full. It's all good. Do we think it's a little bait and switch here? Do we think it's going to be Austin Richards come Sunday, and they're kind of keeping that tight to the chest, as Mike McCarthy likes to do? Anybody?
I think what you said about Tyler saying he's gonna play left guard this year lets you know how much what they think of Awesome. That's how I'm answering that. If that answers that, like, yeah,
Gotcha.
I mean, this staff knows that Tyron, is at the latter part of his career. I think they have a lot of confidence in Awesome. So I don't know. I just think with Edoga that you can't ignore. I just think you just can't ignore what you see on film. I mean,
right.
And I think he struggled with at the tackle spot, and a shoulder or whatever don't help that. So, well, that's my answer. Is this team confidence and Awesome? So we'll see what happens there.
Okay, Spoonie, do you think maybe this is maybe they're going to roll out Awesome come Sunday, or do you think it's going to be Chuma at left tackle?
And I think it's Awesome. He had a good preseason. We all spoke about during the preseason times how good a ball he was playing. And Aisha just spoke about how much he has grown in his body. He's getting ready. What?
No, not you.
Oh, okay.
I know what he's doing. That's number 2. That's number 2 for Armchair now. That's number 2 for Armchair. Go right ahead, Spoon. Sorry.
Well, Awesome Riches, and with Stephen Jones, you do, we all know that he likes to play the guys that he's drafted. This would be a good chance for them to see what they have in Awesome Riches before they decide to go out there in the NFL draft and address it right there. And again, if Awesome Riches becomes that guy where they trust to move forward at the left tackle, that could mean right there when Tyron Smith becomes healthy, you make him the swing tackle. He is an older vet. We all understand that. He'll give us a good game here and there, but the injuries do come. So this is a good opportunity to try the young guys, see what you got. If you trust him enough that he's getting better and better and better at the position, then this could allow Tyron Smith to be that swing tackle we had in Jason Peters last season and move forward it. But I really do think they want to give Awesome Riches a chance because, again, last week starting Chuma, we all saw that Mike McCarthy was afraid to let that get loose and air them balls out. Why? Because he was afraid of his quarterback not surviving with the left tackle situation. So, yes, I do think Awesome Riches will get his chance on Sunday.
Oh, sorry, Dom. Is it going to be Chuma or Richards you think of left tackle this week?
Just go with the future, man. Awesome. Because I think your future next year, you're going to see Awesome at left tackle. You're going to see Tyler at left guard. So go ahead and get it started. Let him get quality snaps in the NFL. Of course, when Tyron is healthy and ready, you want Tyron to get that job back. But get Awesome ready.
All right. Mariella, do you think it's going to be Awesome or Chuma?
I mean, from what I saw from Chuma the other night, I just hope.
But what do you think it's going to be?
I mean, Patriots are a more disciplined defense overall, so I would hope that they would not do that. So I don't know much about Awesome Richards, but I would hope definitely that if he's an option and he's available, that he has that chance and they don't put him out there to drown.
Fair. All right. Is it who are they going to roll out there to start? Is it going to be Doga or Mr. Richards?
So most of the time, like 16 of the other games, I would have agreed with you guys and go with Awesome. I'm going with Chuma Edoga. And the reason I'm saying that is he played for the Jets. He's been in this division. He's faced the New England Patriots defenses. The Patriots run a 3-4. We haven't played a 3-4 primary defense yet. There's a lot of trickeration in terms of who's blitzing, who's rushing, who's not. I'm going to side with the vet this week because I know how Bill Belichick is. On the one angle, you could say, well, Bill Belichick also knows him. He has a lot of film against him, and then he doesn't have film on a rookie with Awesome. But at the same time, Bill Belichick's faced tons of rookie tackles in his career and knows ways to set them up to make them think of like a delayed blitz. You can help down with the guard, and then suddenly your quarterback's getting killed on the outside. I think this week only, and I didn't think Chuma played very well last week, but I think I would go on the side of veteran, been there, played some snaps, seen a few things because of how Bill Belichick is going to attack our offensive line.
10-4. One-headed. You think it's going to be Chuma or is it going to be Richards on Sunday?
As much as I want a team to win, I think McCarthy is not going to give up on Chuma. And, you know, he's a veteran. I think that some of the struggles that he faced maybe had to do with play calling. Maybe you never know. From what I was hearing, is they didn't have a lot to prepare with when the Tyron thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he plays better this week. So that maybe it was just a bad week thing, just happened out of nowhere, type of thing. But if he struggles during the game, you need to put a tight end or a loopy over the block, or if he's too bad, put a seam in there.
Gotcha. On one hand, I kind of want to believe they're kind of playing it close to the chest to start Richards, but I just don't think that's the case. I think we're going to see both, though.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
That's a good option. Yeah.
I think we're going to see both. Go ahead, Aisha.
No, I agree. I think that they may, if they see something they don't like, or if it's not, productive or whatever the case may be, I think they would make the end game switch, because what do you got to lose at that point? Or if Idoga's shoulder bothers him or anything.
Right, or the elbow.
Because elbow rather. I don't know if it's. I think it's is his elbow or his shoulder.
Pretty sure it's the elbow.
It's his elbow. He dislocated his elbow, I think.
Okay.
So, we never know, because Tyron had an ankle injury and now he's on the injury report.
knee.
So
Yeah.
who knows?
Look, the shoulder's connected to the elbow. That's all we know.
Who knows? Yeah.
I thought it was shoulder.
But I think,
No. I agree though. I think there's a strong possibility we could just end up seeing them both. So
I think so too. I think I think they'll start with Chuma, but I think we're going to end up seeing Richards.
Either way, even though like this is not ideal and this is not what you want happening, I don't feel like it did before when we didn't have Tyron, like where it's like, oh my God, we're gonna die, or like, oh my God, Dak's gonna get lit up. Like it doesn't feel like that. It just doesn't feel like that. I think regardless, if Edoga can't get it done, I think Awesome can hold his own. Like he may have a few whiffs, but I do think he can hold his own. So I'm not terrified like I would be other years. I feel like just not having Tyron out there or not having a Zach Martin out there, it doesn't feel as scary, even though it limits your play calling. It's not scary to me anymore.
Yeah, some of that scheme, I think, as well, that we talked about a ton throughout this
Fair.
process.
Yeah.
I think some of that scheme, and look, any other time, right? Well, let's just be honest. If we were missing 3 out of the 5 offensive linemen, and we're saying, hey, it's Martin, it's Biotish, it's Tyron, we're like, holy cow. The Cowboys ran the ball so effectively. And the passing game, while, and to Mike McCarthy's credit, said maybe I was a little too conservative because of certain things, especially in the red zone. I mean, they put up over 400 yards for those 3 guys out. And that's just something we haven't seen in the past, when it comes to that. So it'll be interesting to see.
You guys think can have 3 starting offensive linemen out and be productive? I know, I'm telling you, I was annoyed too with like the lack of passing and everything too. But I thought to myself, like, we didn't die. Like,
right, we did. Yes, we didn't die. Yes.
I think I 1,000% agree with you, Aisha. 1,000% agree with you, Aisha. Now looking at it, but during the game and just watching Chuma Edoga get like beat like that, and seeing Tyron in full uniform and then panning the camera every 2 seconds, that's where my frustration was. I was like, so he's suited up and he's okay, and we're getting beat out here. So that was my main issue. Obviously, now he's not okay, and we know that, even though they dressed him. But like in that moment, I was like saying all kinds of curse words that I gotta pray to be forgiven for. But
every time they showed on my camera, I'm like, just wheel him out there. He's good. Wheel him out there.
The thumbs up. It's good. It's so good.
Exactly. Captain not play?
What's that?
Dom, have you ever seen a captain not play?
Ooh.
Is that has that ever happened where you've seen a person be a captain and then not play?
Yeah. Not for the Cowboys beneath McCarthy.
Yeah. And that gave us hope.
Yeah.
Like right before it's like,
We're toying with our emotions so bad.
Yes, that's what really had me going because I was
you
like,
know what?
he's
I'm calling
okay.
damn it, McCarthy. I'm calling the police.
Yeah.
We
Made
did that.
him the dadgum captain, and then made us look at him the whole time, just looking like he was ready to go in. He was over shaking his head. He was frustrated with what's happening with the offensive line, and I'm like, just put him in.
We
He's
didn't die. We didn't die.
We didn't.
I would have felt better if at halftime they were like, "Hey, Tyron, just take the pads off," because
Yeah.
the camera would be over and over like, every time they shoot, I'm like, "Oh, that means something. He's coming in. He's coming in."
Y'all were being gaslit. I am
They were
right now.
That's what got me.
Yeah,
That's what got me. I was like,
they
how
were gaslighting us, Aisha.
They
Dadgummit.
were.
Yeah.
That's awful.
You're
Oh.
right.
Alright.
They were.
All right,
See,
y'all.
the Cowboys.
All
They
right,
do
no
this
more
to-
offensive line talk, dadgummit. Well,
Because I think you said something that is really a perfect segue, and I mean his answer, because when you really do think about how the Patriots are going to try to attack Dallas with their 3-4 front and the trickeration, that's what concerns me about this week, because the way that they like to do it is try to isolate Matt Judon. And I know you mentioned earlier in the show about, it's scary to think, what Matt Judon's going to do. And really, that's even against Terrence Steele. So they're going to try to isolate him in some type of way. They're going to show a lot of guys in the box, while yet guys are just going to drop back, because Bill is really not known for just sending the house, but he's trying to just get you to think that, the pressure's going to come from one place. Guys are going to drop back in zones, and then you're trying to isolate your best pass rusher, and Judon's going to be that. And so if we're going to have our left tackle be the big question in a weak link this week, then you're going to put Judon on that left side quite a bit and try to get him isolated, because you're going to occupy Tyler Smith on the inside with maybe a linebacker coming down, safety coming down. I think you're going to flood the interior, so get him one-on-one.
I told some of the guys about that this week in the locker room, because as O said, they haven't played a standard 3-4 defense, and honestly, it's not that common to see in the league anymore. It's just not, a lot of defense ain't doing that. So I wanted to ask them, just kind of some of the cues they look for, how different that is, and they were just saying they just kept saying just how important communication was. But Tyler Smith said something to me as far as just how much you study tendencies, you get somewhat of a grasp. It sounds like they were really, really, really in the film room this week to kind of catch tendencies, see who's blitzing where, because with Bill Belichick, they do they do a lot of the same stuff. They just have different guys do it, kind of how Dan does, So it's it sounds like they kind of overdid it a bit this week, just kind of trying to pick up these tendencies and some of the things that they do there, So yeah, just wanted to say that. Sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to add when it came to their defensive line, they also have a pretty good run defense as well, in the especially between the tackles of the guard and center. So I'm hoping that Biadish and Martin are back, because they're a tough D line and they can stuff that run outside and inside.
I will say though, don't tell Miami that, because they lit their ass up in the run game. So I'm hoping for that.
Yeah, I watched it.
But that's also because Miami they killed them with speed. They killed them with and that's how the Cowboys to me have to approach it. We need to see Turpin, Deuce, we need to see those guys. Yeah, Brandon Cooks in the pass game. We need to extend the field and also use those speed guys in space. Because also too, the Patriots defensive line, they're big guys. They're not a bunch of tweeners or anything. So you can really tire them out by making them chase. So that's why Miami had success, because their defense was on their heels the whole game, because they were afraid of the deep threat and they were afraid of their speed guys. So
well, on their defense too, one of the things we mentioned on our show Wednesday is, so Aisha and I had the opportunity, which is actually really cool. I hope we can do that more often. But we watched film together, just had the all 22 going of the Patriots, and just the two of us. It wasn't recorded live or anything. It was just us talking ball. their linebacker number 8, Jawan Bentley, is better than any linebacker on the Cowboys roster right now. Like the dude is super active. He's good. Like I'm just being realistic. Like he's really good. Makes a lot of plays. But on their defensive line, Matt Judon's the guy that's going to get all of the attention. Like and rightfully so. He's really good.
Yes.
But Josh Uche, opposite of him, has the exact same amount of pressures. Like he's really good too. So when you're talking about, I don't want to get Chumi Doga or Austin Richards matched up against Matt Judon. That's a mismatch. The guy on the other side that they flip around is also really good too. Their defensive line is super solid. They have Christian Barmore. A lot of us remember him in the draft cycle from Alabama. He's had a big season so far. In addition to Jawan Bentley that we talked about, number 8, they have Jelani Tavai. If you were with us in draft season, you remember us talking about Jonah Tavai, his younger brother, but he's really good too. Like he lines up, he's number 48. You'll see him a lot of times lined up as the stand-up edge rusher. Sometimes he's actually just pressing at the line and following a tight end or wide receiver. Sometimes he's blitzing. Sometimes he's playing contain. You never really know what's happening with their defensive front. But what's cool about the Patriots compared to a lot of other teams, and I hate to fanboy Bill Belichick, but they really are a week-to-week system. Like the stuff you saw week 1 against the Eagles looked completely different than what you saw against the Miami Dolphins, where they had a lot of dime packages with 3 safeties back. Then against the Jets the following week, it was raining and it was Zach Wilson, but they didn't respect the passing game at all. So they loaded up the box and they were bringing people like Anthony Jennings, number 33, and that was his first game of the season. He looked really good. They have Keon White from Georgia Tech. A lot of us talked about him in the draft cycle. Like they have a lot of guys that they rotate in and out. But on the offensive side of the ball, which we'll talk about in a minute, it's completely different. Like defense, they're super versatile and exotic. On offense, it's kind of plain Jane. We do some pre-snap motion, but it's not a lot of like misdirection and trickeration going on. But on the defensive side of the ball, Bill's cooking over there. In the run game, I think it will be tough to get the ball running to start. This might be one of those games where, the first quarter comes around and like, we're running into a wall, not really getting a lot, but like quarter 3 comes around and suddenly that's opening up a little bit if you can take advantage in the passing game. And when you look at their cornerbacks, they play a lot of off coverage. They don't want to get beat deep. They're missing 2 of their top 3 cornerbacks. The guy that they have, Christian Gonzalez, is a rookie, and he's looked phenomenal. Very good draft pick, and that's one of those things like, how did that dude fall to them? He was projected a top 7 or 8 guy, went to like 18th or 19th or whatever the Patriots drafted him at. But on the opposite side of him, their nickel cornerback and the other guy are their 4th and 5th cornerbacks. That's who they have. So they don't want to get beat deep. So they're going to give you some of that easy completion, slant screens, shallow crossers, quick outs, things like hitches, stuff like that. Like they'll invite it because they're a sound tackling team and they'd rather you beat them for 6 yards and 7 yards and take a long scoring drive, which the Cowboys have done a lot this year. We have 12, 10-plus play drives already this season, 31 last year. So that's crazy when you think about such a small sample size. We already have a third of what we had last year in long drives. But that's kind of what the Patriots do on defense, and that's kind of what we do on offense. So it's going to be a who breaks first type of matchup on that side of the ball.
Yeah. And then, of course, we could say per se maybe the blueprint from Arizona is pull your guys, traps, counters, different things like that. And you look at the 2 running backs that they have with Zeke and Stevenson, I think we're going to see that. Though they don't have the big weapons, we're switching to the offensive side of the ball, right? On the outside wide receiver-wise, but boy, they got tight ends, right? They got Gesicki, he can catch the rock, right? They got Hunter Henley, he can catch the rock, and I think you're going to see the 12 and 13 personnel from them coming out. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the Cowboys match up with that. And, of course, that gets us into Zeke's return. I do have a question here coming in about Zeke's return. One hit, I'm going to drop you because we do have a new guest, but stay in the back. I got you, okay, bud?
Bet.
All right. From the stage, let me get Mr. Charles Dukas in the building. How are we doing this Friday, Charles?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Man, doing fantastic. Thanks for joining, man. We got Zeke's return here as you're coming up here. Let me ask you, Cowboys rolling out the red carpet. They're going to celebrate him. How do you feel about it? Charles, you there?
Hey, Charles. We lose him?
I don't know. Charles, you still there, bud? Charles going once.
no.
Charles going twice. No. All right, Charles. I don't know if you got a problem with your microphone or you dropped us. Maybe try to drop and then come back up and I'll get you back up, bud. Okay. All right. All right.
I got a question. Quick question. Mac Jones. Notorious for messing with folks.
What's wrong with him?
How many Cowboys players nuts will he grab this week?
Oh no!
I don't think he's gonna grab any because we have a dude named Sam Williams that he'll respond. Sam will respond.
Oh no!
Oh, first off, who names their son McCorkle? Like, I don't know if that's a family name or what. McCorkle Jones.
McCorkle.
That ain't that boy's name.
That is
his name, McCorkle.
Yeah.
Yes. I think I brought that up the first time we played them. I was like, his name is McCorkle.
Kind of sounds like a bird.
It makes me think of Macklemore. Remember that guy? Macklemore?
Oh, yeah.
But that's what I think of, Macklemore Jones. But
Thrift Shop? Yeah,
Thrift Shop. Yeah. He had like 2 songs and I just kind of disagreed.
Yeah, I just pray that if he does grab anybody's nuts, that they don't respond.
Awesome.
Because you already know how the league is when it comes to the Cowboys. They'll suspend us for reacting, and we got the 49ers next week on Sunday Night Football the week after. So, if anything, hopefully it's somebody, like maybe like Armstrong, we do it that way.
It's true.
We won't miss
Very
him,
true.
X, Y, and Z.
We're not making fun of him. We're just saying how many nuts is he going to grab. It's a completely different conversation here.
No, I was making fun of his name.
Well, that's fair. Yeah.
There's video out there. He's not grabber.
Yeah, you better not. We're
He's
gonna,
nuts.
but that's what we'll do.
But again, I do want to ask. Zeke's
to be fair,
return.
though, Mac Jones, he can throw something on you if you let him. So
We'll come back to that. We'll get the Zeke question and come right back to that.
Yeah, but Zeke here, Jerry doing the typical salesman stuff, right? Rolling out the red carpet, right, and celebrating. Where do you land on that? And also, let me start with Professor O. Where do you land here with celebrating him week 4 red carpet treatment? Where do you feel when it comes to that?
I mean, right now, I don't know that it would be fair for me to weigh in because I don't know what that is. Like, is that going to be like a 60-second video montage before the game starts? Is that like a halftime celebration? Are we like putting number 21 towels on each seat? Like, there's different levels, right? Depending on how extreme they go with it. If they just show like a video montage of him and like a welcome back to Dallas type of thing for 60 seconds before the game, I don't really care. Even if they do it like between quarters or something, like not really a big deal. If they make it like what Jerry kind of alluded to of maybe a Ring of Honor, like he won't be a surprise Ring of Honor entry Sunday or anything. But if they like go that extreme with it, where they're like retiring his jersey, which we don't retire numbers, so that's probably not realistic, then I would have an issue with it. But I don't mind. He was a guy that he did a lot of good things here. He's really popular in the community. He's really popular in the locker room. I don't really mind them doing that. If they want to do a small little, hey, thank you for what you did, welcome back, I'm cool with it. So right now, I'm neutral / okay with it. Depending on how it goes Sunday, I might be spoony sermoning, hoodie Nick style Monday. But I feel like they're gonna do it in a respectful, tactful way. But it's the Cowboys, so who knows?
Okay. Anybody else? The Zeke return and the hoopla caught up in there.
I agree with Professor O. First of all, Stevie Mac 23. That was funny. That was funny. Mac Jones.
Oh, sorry.
That was funny.
Oh no.
Can I say pause now, Aisha? Is that okay or no?
I wasn't expecting to read that.
Yeah.
I wasn't either. I just saw it and I was like, oh, okay. But no, I agree with Professor O. I agree that it depends on what actually happens during the ceremony. I imagine they're just going to be very welcoming, and he does still have a lot of fans here. Sure. People love his mom.
Absolutely.
And so they want him to still be welcome here, even and a lot of fans still agree that he shouldn't have been cut or whatever. So I can see them doing something nice as long as it's not extreme. But I agree with Professor O. Yeah.
I
To be
don't care.
fair, we didn't ask for him to get in the Ring of Honor. The media talked to Jerry, and Jerry went that route. So I'm not advocating for him or any of the other two guys you mentioned, because I agree with you. I think they were very good players, but not
Yeah.
not that level.
Agree. No, we're not advocating for that at all. We're just.
But you know what it is, though? This is the first time that I can remember in a long time, since being a Cowboy fan, that Jerry Jones has put a former player that they're about to play this week into the ring.
I'm sorry.
Go
ahead.
My train of thought. Okay.
Whoa, put that. What just happened there?
Asking men to turn their head and cough.
Oh boy.
Sirens time.
Out of order.
Out of pocket.
This is what happens on Friday night shows.
Yes, Nick. Good job.
These jokes.
Go ahead, Spoon. Land that plane, Spoon.
All right, I'm not putting any more on the screen. Stop doing that, Chad.
As I was saying, it's been a long. I haven't never heard of a player, a former player that the Cowboys are about to play during the week, be mentioning to the Ring of Honor and stuff like that. Not even Emmitt Smith when he played with the Cardinals. I remember the year, his first game against Dallas, Roy Williams knocked him out the game the first drive. We all know Zeke is a Ring of Honor guy. He's a Cowboy for life, regardless. But Jerry, we have to be serious here. Jimmy, anybody that goes in before Jimmy is gonna be a problem. And I think sometimes with Jerry, he does it on purpose because he wants us to talk about why is Jimmy not in. Jimmy needs to be in the ring. No disrespect, Zeke. Zeke's a Cowboy.
I do think that people need to stop asking him about Jimmy, though. Like, just stop asking him.
But you know,
because that makes it.
I don't disagree, but I mean, it is.
That makes it worse. Like, Jerry's one of those men where you keep asking him. He's like, you keep asking me, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
He did say he was gonna do it. He did say on live TV he was gonna do it, and that's the thing.
But then it
keeps
coming
they were side by side.
Jerry's on the sauce. Jerry's on the sauce then.
Yeah, no, it keeps coming up more and more and more, and every time it comes up, it's like.
It's because of their age, though, and where they're at, and I think obviously it's a crowd movement that wants to see that, And I said, look, it's easy. All Steven needs to do is like, hey, we're going to put you on at the same time. But I mean, it's not about Jimmy right now in that realm. Aisha, the celebration here with Zeke coming back, how does it hit you? Yeah, worthy, much ado about nothing. Where you at?
I don't care. Like, respectfully, I don't care if they go big or if they do something small. It's ultimately what they decide to do. But I will say that, like, having the opportunity to meet Zeke and just kind of be in that locker room last year, you can feel that he's not there. So he means a lot to those guys, and I don't know. I mean, guys talk about missing his laugh. I mean, and when you think about it that deep, it's like you got grown men saying they miss another dude's laugh. I mean, let's just keep the buck. So I just, they really love him and loved him. So whatever they decide to do for him, it is what it is. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the first down and people do the Zeke thing. Right. I mean, straight up, like I wouldn't be surprised because he was. I mean. He did his job. He ran his race here, and I think someone like Zeke, he deserves the love. He does. He's a real good human. So, yeah, I don't.
He deserves the love pregame. Well, you can be a Zeke fan. You can say he does a lot in the community. All that's great. You can give him as much love. Give him a standing ovation pregame. I don't care. But as soon as the game starts, he's the ops. That's just how it is. You want to cheer for him next week? Cool. Yes. That's the facts of the matter. He is not going to slide early to concede a first down for us or anything. No. So it just is what it is. Like he wants to
better not cross that line of scrimmage. He better not cross that line of scrimmage.
Here's a real thing. And look, and I've watched some of the games and everything. I haven't seen it yet or not. Do we know if Zeke's busted out the feed me in New England yet at any point in time?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
He had a run last week against the Jets.
He did one.
He did
I was wondering, was he just going to tuck that till he got here to Dallas and then possibly bring it out and see what happens? And look, he's going to have a good game. He had 80 yards last week.
I'll be trying to knock out teeth.
Facts. I mean, look, and Micah talks about it, right, Aisha? Micah's like, he always said, man, you lucky, talking about Zeke and, because the practice and everything else. So that's going to be it's going to be interesting. There's a little extra sauce here with Zeke coming back. And look, as I always said, I don't care what anybody says about Zeke and how you feel. Period. At the end of the day, I don't care what running back you like. I don't care who's your favorite running back of all time. Any other running back in NFL history. Zeke did it in a Dallas Cowboys jersey, and he was the quickest running back in NFL history to 10,000 total yards.
Yeah.
Those are facts. Say whatever you want to say about him. That's what he did. We watched him really mature and grow up here. And ultimately, you cannot tell the Dallas Cowboys story of their history without Zeke being involved in it. So, I mean, there's definitely those things involved there. No, for sure. But with that being said, as Mary just said, don't cross the line.
Yeah, it's like Mario.
Don't
We're
cross the
playing all
line.
game long. Don't cross that line of scrimmage. None of it.
Can I say my piece on it?
No, you can't. One. Sorry. No, I'm just joking. One. Go right ahead. Go ahead, my guy.
No, I was gonna say, just give him that 60 that minute montage of his best plays of prime Zeke. But when the game play, I want the crowd to start screaming deuce. Start screaming deuce. Just to prove you're the ops now. Okay, we're not gonna be yelling Zeke no more. Right, you're our ops. We're here to win.
Yeah.
We're not gonna try to give you momentum by yelling Zeke and doing the feed me thing. He's a New England Patriot now. He's in the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Gregory, I think you're going to see a good split. I think they're both going to get some carries. I think you're going to see 15 if the game's going the way they want it to go. Let me say it that way. I think you're going to see Zeke and Stevenson get about 15 carries apiece. Is what I think personally when it comes to that. And again,
what's up, Dom?
Oh my gosh! Did y'all see that?
See what?
See what?
I see this update.
What?
So they were asking him,
Asking who?
Zeke. They were asking him what's the least favorite part about being in Dallas, and he said the effing people, the fans. They're obnoxious.
Like I said, ops.
Who said? Whoa! Where did he say this at?
Oh my psych! That was Chauncey.
I was like, there's no way.
Ain't no way.
That's what like, who posted that? I don't
I'm going to look it up.
Hold on. Dom, actually, wait. There's only one way I can
Hit him
do
with the
this.
light.
Yeah,
Dom,
go to jail. That one.
Dom,
Go to jail, Dom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell!
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Chauncey.
Stir the
That
pot
was
there,
so-
Dom.
That was believable for a second.
Well, Dom's so serious.
Hey,
He's so serious.
Chauncey said that about the Eagles whenever he left.
Oh,
He
yeah,
did.
that's right. You
And
sure right.
my main thing about that subject is, if Zeke would have done something like that, then as a Cowboys fan, you got to say, absolutely not. Don't show him any love. At no point in the game, but that's just not it. Like, he's a favorite son. And whenever the favorite son come back home, you got to show him love. And everybody loved that guy. And he put his life on the line every single game.
Say that.
And so not just his body, but he put his life on the line. So you got to show Zeke love. 7 years in the building, third all-time rusher in Cowboys history. You wish it could have lasted a little bit longer. There's a business side of it. So he had to do what he had to do as well after they released him. But yeah, shouts out to Zeke. I'll be doing some Zeke. Feed me. I might even get a big bowl of cereal at that time. And actually, but after that first series, nah.
Slide that bowl right off the table.
Get it right out of here.
Get some bite, some eat real quick and slide it off the table.
I want 2 fumbles. I want 2 fumbles. A
Yes.
block.
Oh, I love it. You speaking my language.
I want them to look slow as possible.
All right, let's get to some brass tacks here, right? So I think we all agree they're going to try to carve no read option with Macklemore, Jones, whatever the hell his name is, right? That's not going to be in the movie. McCorkle, there it is, McCorkle, yes, Lieutenant McCorkle. There's not going to be any of that, but obviously the run game is going to be very power in doing maybe what Arizona did. That's what the Cowboys had to contend with on that side. Limit the tight ends, obviously. Defensively, eloquently put by Professor O. And again, be very clear. This is the second best defense they played all season. They're not quite the Jets, but they're a little bit more capable offensively than the Jets, which gives them a different kind of advantage over there. Obviously they've talked about it's floated out there that Christian Gonzalez might travel with Lamb. So that's going to be an interesting thing to look at. I don't think they're going to do that. It's out there. I think it's what the zone and make you beat about 1,000 cuts. I think that's what they're going to get to. So with that being said, let me get your key to the game. One, Mary, what is your one key matchup, offensively or defensively? You can go either side of the ball here for the Cowboys to get this dub. And I will start with the ladies first. I'm gonna go Mary, Aisha, and then I'll pivot around. Mary, what's the one key to the game for the Cowboys here? The key matchup for you?
I mean, I think it's about protecting the QB and
Okay.
getting this offense going fully. I mean, we talked about it the first week, the second week, the third week, how, the first week it was raining and we didn't really need to because of the defense. The second week, it kind of got moving a little bit. We saw some things we liked, but it didn't really need to because of the defense. And then the third week, we didn't do much because we were missing some key line players.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's, we want to see some more downfield. I think we want to see, the O-line do better than they did last week, regardless of who's starting at left tackle. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is definitely the O-line and what the offense can do.
Okay. Aisha, what's your key matchup for the Cowboys? Offensive or defensive? We think the biggest key matchup here is for the Cowboys to get it up.
Who's the OC for the Patriots?
It's the what's his name?
Bill O'Brien.
O'Brien, right?
Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien. Yeah, he's back.
But is Belichick calling plays though?
No.
Oh,
I think he did some of that last year.
Okay, so
not
Bill
this year.
O'Brien versus Dan Quinn. I think.
Okay.
I think Dan Quinn, has to rally his guys, and it was a trickle down. It wasn't just the players on the field. I felt like there were some things going on up there in that booth as well. So, that's my matchup. Is how Dan, not just the defense as a unit, but how Dan Quinn bounces back from a performance that I think he doesn't feel was characteristic of him as well. So,
10-4. All right, Spoonie, what's your key matchup? Inside, either way. Got to unmute though, brother.
Pardon me speaking.
Okay.
Offensively, you can't make mistakes. Playing the Patriots team, they will capitalize on any mistakes you make and they will attack you on it. The minute they see blood in your wound, they're going to attack it until you can stop it. If I'm the Cowboys, utilize all your skilled guys. And I'm talking about whether it's Deuce Vaughn, Hunter Limpke, features CeeDee Lamb, your best offensive player, more. Be more creative. Open up that playbook a little bit more. You have to. You can't go in there being vanilla against a Patriot team led by Belichick. So you're gonna have to open up the book a little bit more and try to score more points.
All right. Key matchup for you, Dom.
It's the offensive side of the ball for us, but specifically the receiver room. And Bill likes to take away, what you do best. And in his estimation, it'll probably be us trying to get our running game back, since we are one of the better running teams in the league. So I don't think they're going to give us much running the ball. So we got to be able to have a good passing attack. So the key guy that I'm going to bring up is Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
It's time for you to step up. It's time for you to perform. You're now another week removed from the injury. So we need you to, show that electric speed that you have and all of the crisp route running that we heard about and just your overall experience that you bring to the team. So receiver room, Brandon Cooks, get the passing game going. And like Spoonie just said, beat them to that intermediate and deep passes as well. Open it up.
10-4. One-handed, your one key matchup, offensive and defensive for the Cowboys get the dub this week.
Pick one, or can I say two?
No, one.
One, okay. Punching it into the end zone.
Red zone.
The red zone.
Going.
Okay.
Yeah, get into the red zone when we get into the you know what I mean? Like when you look at the Patriots, they are 70%. I think what I looked last. I think they're 70% in the red zone, so they're very good in the red zone. So we need to be able to punch it in. You know what I mean? Make sure you're moving CD around like we did against the Jets, keeping him away from Sauce, keep CD away from Gonzalez. I don't care if he's a rookie.
Oh, you said red zone. You're doing too much now. You got too much sauce on the dog.
All right.
You're getting your Mary
all right.
on.
Punch it in
Mary on.
red zone. Punch it in the red zone. Get more people involved, like Devontae Turpin.
Yeah, there you go. Just keep adding on. Yeah, that guy.
Agreed.
Now you got it. There it is. Now you got to get the
I
lights.
agree.
Like, I know you do, Mary. He's taking a page out of your book. I know
He was cooking. He was cooking.
I know.
Okay?
One head he was cooking. All right. Eddie-O, it's pinned at the top. It's pinned at the top. And I also dropped the link again right underneath O's thing. All you gotta do is click the link and you can join. You got a new iPhone. You got that titanium. I don't know what the problem is here. Oh, what's your one key matchup, brother?
So I'm gonna go with a weird one,
No,
but it's intentional. I'm going with our secondary versus their receivers, not specifically in coverage, but taking the ball away. We talk about that for 2 years now. You win the turnover battle, you're probably going to win the game. You have a 78% chance of doing that. Aisha and I watch film. Mac throws a lot of balls that are off target, specifically when he's rushed, and they kind of are a little bit behind the receiver and bounce up in the air. We got to win those tip drills. How many interceptions did we have against the Cardinals last week? Anyone?
0.
Win the turnover battle, you win this game. We know that it's going to be an ugly game. We know that their defense is going to be formidable. Not a juggernaut defense, but a tough defense to score on.
Yeah.
We don't expect a high-flying effort from their offense. So this might be one of those games that you can win, 21-13, whatever. We'll get to score predictions later, but defensive backs have to be opportunistic. This is the week where that ball bounces off the running back's hand. I need Jaron or Dono, either one, anybody. I don't really care who it is, but one of those safeties to be in the right spot at the right time to take advantage of that. So that's my key for this game. Win the turnover battle, and this won't be hard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For me, my go ahead, Aisha, and I'll give my one key matchup.
I had a question about because of that matchup. Nick, you probably looked at some film. I know Don, you guys probably looked at some film. Do you guys think that they may play? Would you do more man or would you go more zone against the Mac Jones?
Let's cook. Let's go.
Yeah, here's the thing. I think ultimately for me, I want to go back to single high. I do against Mac Jones. I want to go single high. I want to stack the box. This is what the defense did good. I understand that Diggs isn't here, but this is in the DNA of the defense. And this is what did well for you the first 2 weeks. I will go back to single high, and I'll force Mac Jones to beat me. I don't believe in their weapons outside. Their tight ends or whatever, I don't believe in their weapons outside. Even without Trey Diggs, I want to go back to the single high looks, stack the box, and go that route. That's where I lay.
I like that. What you got, Dom? What you got, O?
Dom, you're muted.
Well, you're muted.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, you know what that means.
That's great. I'm out.
Stop taking him to jail.
Legit, so I'm gonna let Mac go last. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump in. Mac Jones, you're just gonna have to beat me outside the numbers and deep.
Yeah.
Until you can prove that to me on a consistent basis, especially against our defense, to me it should have been the ingredients last week against Arizona, and for whatever reason we wet the bed and had poor alignment up front and didn't have enough in the box. So this week, same thing. Mac, you beat me. I don't really have to worry about his legs as much. So yeah, pretty simple.
Cool beans. Oh, you got anything on that before we pivot?
Yeah. So of course
I know you did.
So I'm pressing at the line of scrimmage and I'm playing zone coverage because I want my defensive backs and my linebackers looking for the ball. Because again, he has a lot of off-target throws, specifically when he's pressured and their offensive line is not good. So there will be opportunities. I will say, in fairness to Mac Jones, he's 4th overall in time to throw with 2.29 seconds. So he's not sitting back there long. It's a lot of hitch routes, quick outs, things like that. He's not going to sit there in the pocket for forever waiting for your pass rush to get to him. He's going to get the ball out quick. So I want my defensive backs and linebackers looking for those opportunities to jump those routes or be ready for when the ball's off target to pick it off. But I'm playing a ton of press coverage. I love the idea of going single high and making it difficult for him, because if you're a quarterback that is on that BOQ offense, which is ball out quick offense, I want him to not be able to do that. Let's Bill Belichick this. Let's take away what they like to do. Stop letting him get these free releases and quick throws. I don't want to see our defensive backs playing 7 yards off. I want them right in the receiver space They don't have burners. The one guy that I would be somewhat scared of beating us deep would be Demario Douglas. Again, shout out to us in draft cycle because we talked about him a ton. He is being misused in their offense. He should be more like a Tank Dell, but they're using him as a deep threat, and half of his targets have been downfield. I'm not scared of him, and I loved him. I wanted the Cowboys to draft him. I'm not afraid of him one-on-one versus our defensive backs downfield because we have taller defensive backs, and he's like 5'9".
Yeah.
He is a quick dude, but again, I think he's more dangerous up close. If you bring him up close, shout out to Liberty. If you bring him up close and get him, on those slant routes, shallow crossers, like that's where he can cook. But whatever, they're using him as a deep threat. The other guys don't scare me at all going downfield, so I'm pressing at the line and making Mac beat us deep. If they can't do it, which I don't think they can, I think we'll be totally fine.
Yeah, and now I'll come back to my key matchup for the game. It's Mike McCarthy versus Bill Belichick. That's where I'm at. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. I think it's his play calling versus Bill Belichick's play calling. I think that's the chess match. I think that's the key matchup here. Even if Tyron's not here, it feels like we're going to get at least two of the guys back. Of course, who knows? When it comes to Mike McCarthy, these guys, it looks like Martin and Biaggi are going to play. We'll wait and see, obviously. But he can't be scary, right? And look, and they did good things last week, right? They moved over 400 yards.
Yeah.
But when it's time to score, man, Mary, what's the saying, man? What's the saying? Don't what is it? Don't
tuck it, let it hang.
Hey, man, don't run it on first and second down on the red zone, then ask Dak to bail you out.
Yeah.
Throw it early. And he admitted that already. He admitted that this week. And he needs to change on that and get to that. And again, to me, the key matchup is Mike McCarthy's play calling versus what Bill Belichick wants to do defensively there.
Dang, I can't believe they what you got two nutcases on special teams. Bones and
yeah.
I cannot believe you. Like, I'm telling you right, and I am telling you right now. I think that none of y'all got that reference. I am so sad.
No, I'm with you.
I get it.
No. I'm letting you cook. I see what you're doing. I was like, I see what I used to do. I ain't gonna hit you with the pause. I'm letting you cook.
No, I can't believe I cannot believe you didn't say like Bones Fossil and then I can't remember their coordinator over there, but he's a little nuts too.
They are, but here's the thing. And Aisha, I appreciate, I am a Mr. Special Teams Matter, but you know what? Here's the thing. Aubrey was sent to us from the heavens.
Yeah, him did come from us.
We didn't know.
Absolutely love him.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
We were not familiar with his game.
We were not. I apologize. I was not familiar with this game. As Martin just said, that mother effer's not real. That motherfucker back there is not real.
Yeah,
we talked about it a lot. The Cowboys struck gold last year in Turpin from the USFL. I said, boy, I hope they're not going back to the well again. It's going to be dry. And I tell you what, man, salute to him and where it's at. But special teams do matter. A woman after my own heart there, Aisha. You know how I roll. But to me, it's bigger than that. I think it is just McCarthy versus the hoodie over there, if you will, and how they're going to call, especially coming off the week that McCarthy had, and maybe being a little cautious. We'll label it in the red zone.
I won't start in field position. Something.
Well, let's not have holds. Well, I mean, Harper had the hold and got cut, so I guess was that a message? No, real quick. Side note, I didn't even mean to bring this up.
Oh Lordy!
What was that a message? A lot of penalties. And the guy that gets cut was the guy that cost us a big punt return. Was that maybe a little bit of a message from McCarthy to the rest of the team?
Could be.
I think so.
With no depth, though, like.
Do it.
Well, even more so, maybe a message. We don't care. We have depth. You can't do that. I'm spitballing here, Aisha.
I don't know.
No! You're not the only person who's thought that. I can tell you, there's quite a few people who do think that. I don't know. But I understand how you could come to that conclusion.
10-4. All right, let's get to it. First and foremost, Eddie. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Spoon. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say so far with the Packers, Mike McCarthy's 2-3 versus Belichick, but with the Cowboys, 1-0.
10-4.
That's scary.
Eddie, you finally figured out the link. I see. Well,
yeah, you have to press it. Like when you click on it, it actually pulls things up, and then you get in, and it worked out well.
Awesome, good job. I got Rhodes in the middle. What's going on, Rhodes? How you doing this Friday? Oh, we got a full cast. Hey, the Freestyle Friday's popping tonight, man. We got 4 in the building. What's going on?
The gang's all back together.
Yeah, here we are. Here we are. Now, with that being said, I'm at max capacity, but don't worry. If anybody wants to join, I can rotate around and get people up here. That's what it's all about. Y'all coming up here, interacting, and everything else. And y'all both came up at the right time because we're giving predictions before we get over here to the next picks. And, of course, we have college football on deck. And then, of course, y'all know what y'all hear. That Spoonie sermon to close us out. So let's go. Rowan, you're up first, man. What is your prediction for this game score-wise?
Cowboys 30, Patriots 13.
Okay. All right, 30-13. What do we got? The over-under's what? 42.5, and the Cowboys are favored by 6.5, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Eddie O, what's your score for the game?
The pressure. 31-17.
31-17. One-handed. What score you got for this game?
Wow.
I got 28-7 Dallas.
Aisha just said them out. Dom, what you got for the game, man?
Oh man, I'm thinking we're gonna come out upset 31-13.
31-13. You and Gregory on the same path. Aisha, you got a score prediction?
Can you guys hear me? I lost before.
Sure can. No, you're good. You got a score prediction for the game, man?
Yep.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 16-28.
16-28.
Cowboys.
All right. Spoonie?
40-17.
40 Burgers is back.
Yep.
40 Burgers is back from Spoon. Hey, he's only called 40 Burgers once this year. Did he go? He didn't go 40. Did you go 40 last week?
No, he went 40. He went 40.
Yeah, he goes 40 like every week. So
Doing over 40.
I said 43 last week.
He goes 40 like every week. So
fair enough. Mary, what's the score you got?
I'm going 21-18. I haven't decided who the winner is yet. I don't know how I feel now about this offense. Say what you want. They haven't. I know it's the Cardinals, and we always play bad and blah blah blah. So many things go wrong, but
you didn't have a margarita.
They're a disciplined football team with a great coach, and I haven't seen anything enough for me to be happy about this offense. Super confident in them this season. So yeah. I don't know who I'm going to pick to win yet, but 21-18.
Well, we're not okay, but we're not live yet. I mean, we're not going to be live again.
I said what I said, Nick.
I can't. I'm going to let Mary cook here. Give me a team. You can say Patriots. I won't throw the lights.
I mean, I genuinely don't know. I just think it's going to be.
I pressed. I tried. Oh, they got Mary.
Hey, y'all.
Mary,
I want to be wrong.
They're getting you, Mary. Throwing tomatoes at me.
They got the tomatoes. They got the tomato.
And boo me next week, too. Hopefully I'm wrong, okay?
Mary, he was trying to spell Bloody Mary, but he misspelled it, so it came out boo. Don't worry.
What's the score from you, my friend?
So far this year, they've lost 25-20. 24-17, and won 15-10. So the highest they've scored this year is 20, and the most they've allowed is 25. So I'm gonna go that we score slightly more than everybody else has. So I'm gonna go 31, and I'm gonna go right in the middle with what they've scored, 17. So Cowboys win 31-17.
Oh, okay, I wasn't super off.
Okay, yeah. I got it. I think the Cowboys cover. I don't think the over hits. I think it's the Cowboys 24 and the Patriots 14. Is where I'm at. I got Cowboys 24, Patriots 14 is where I'm landing there. Okay, well, with that being said, the predictions are in. Saw some good scores down here too. I saw some overtime. Stevie Mack over here still in Aisha said hit him with the barnacles. Okay. Look,
Aisha can't say that anymore, by the way. I don't know if you guys tune in to Girls Talk, Boys Talk, but she gets penalized. There's a fine now. They have a swear jar type of thing. Yeah. Every time that Jess has a pun, she has to put a quarter in. Every time that Aisha gives barnacles, tater tots, or anything like that, she has to put a quarter in. and then every time that Christy spills her Dr. Pepper or does anything like that, she has to put a quarter in. So apparently she spilled a lot of Dr. Pepper.
Yeah,
But
here's the thing. Here's
I
the
think
thing,
it's more hard for
Aisha.
the other two than Christy.
Aisha, here's the thing. You can say all those things over here. We are not going to punish you at all.
Yeah, they do me wrong. I'm
We got your
over
back,
nervous. Can't even use my verbiage. But
Yeah.
I don't. Did you guys talk about it before I got on? I don't know. We saw Peyton Hendershot dealing with an ankle. What's the vibe? What's the vibe from the tight ends from everyone before we get out of here?
That's fair. That's fair. We got
What's
a couple
the
of things to
vibe?
get to, but yeah.
No vibes. No vibes.
Building needs to trend in the right. Needs to trend up.
Underwhelming.
Need more.
Yeah.
Should have drafted Sam Laporta. I don't know if somebody here talks about Sam Laporta a lot, but
He
here
went
we
before
are.
our pick. He was
I know. You should have made a move. I don't
Nick did
care.
not want to hear me. He was like, I don't see it.
All right.
Here's what I need Ferguson to look at the 87 over there and embody that. And I think Ferguson can. I'll be honest with you. I'm still a believer in Ferguson. I'm still a believer in Ferguson. The Hendershot is concerning because Hendershot, we talked about it through training camp, right? Oh, Dom, everybody. Just he was having some struggles at camp. And the sophomore slump may be hitting him a little bit. You know what? We might see Sean McEwen up this week.
Yeah, maybe.
There might be a pivot there.
Maybe. I'm just asking because when you talk about this offense and you talk about the red zone and stuff like that, it's a lot easier for a defense to key in on your wide receivers if they don't take your tight end seriously.
You know what? Here's another one. Here's another one here, and it goes back to Mike McCarthy, what I talked about earlier. You need to start using them in the seams and across the middle. Everything with the passing game for the tight ends and the running backs is on the boundaries.
Yeah.
You need to start attacking the middle more in this offense, and that's a problem that I think is happening currently that he's got to adjust to.
I mentioned it, but the thing about the seams and especially with tight end, they got to be comfortable doing that. Like, when you're playing the seams, it's a feel too, and so I think with them all kind of being young in their career, that's something that they, like you said, like they got to consistently work, even if it's not always pretty. They got to get a feel. Like I can't explain it, but like you start looking at a tight end after a while, and you can, I can tell you for sure, like we saw with Dalton Schultz, like you just kind of slowly started to see him look like a tight end, like how he even angles himself, how he, just sits in zones and different things. And I think, these guys being young, they're still looking for that feel of the seams, and I think that's important. So
they got to call it though, is the problem.
And I know you're 100% right. I definitely mentioned it. So.
How about this though? If our tight ends can't produce again this week, maybe by halftime, how about we see more 10 personnel? I'm Mr. 12 personnel, but if we're in obvious passing situations, I would rather see Jalen Tolbert out there. I think Tolbert earned the opportunity the week prior against the Jets. And Michael Gallup had a big bounce back game last week. Let's see all four of them out there. We haven't shown that yet. Maybe this is the week, or maybe next week, whatever. We see more 10 personnel. If the tight ends just aren't going to do what we asked them to do, and they're not going to make defenses fear them, then switch it up. Yeah, switch it up.
And we saw, and to your point, we saw it against the Jets there late in the first half. It worked well for them. And man, we got to stop. Look, and as a leader and conductor of the Kyle Pitts train,
James Slater said, ha.
You just spent a second round pick on Schoonmaker.
Aisha, why do you
say that? I
just don't
see the Cowboys doing
what
that.
I said?
Why are you bringing up Kyle Pitts?
I didn't say that.
You, Dom?
That was Aisha.
With all due respect,
you ain't seen my lips say that.
Yo, Dom, why did I know that Dom was this petty, yo?
Hold the lights on for you.
I agree with
Lip Heath. Give the ball to Lip Heath Gasco.
Yeah, give the ball to
Yes, he does.
I mean, just like I said about the Marvion Overshown injury, kind of starting to feel like a big deal.
They snitched on you in the comments, though, Dom. Not try.
A little piece of me feels like the John Stevens injury feels a little suckier now, right now too.
I came in
feel
over
like,
Sean.
yeah, I
Just
feel like
throwing
he
it
would
out there.
be
Just throwing it out
success.
there. Kyle Pitts is about to turn 23 next week.
He's just a nugget.
Luke Schoonmaker.
Baby.
I'm just saying, almost 25 already.
Eddie with their hand up. Go right ahead, Eddie.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm
Sorry,
getting in
Dave.
my space vibe. Sorry.
You're good.
Putting my hand up. Honestly, I don't really blame the tight end so much as I blame the play calling.
Yeah.
The play calling for the tight ends has not been good, to say the
Mhm.
least. Tight ends do better working across the field versus working away from the quarterback. They can't get their head around. They're too big. Our two biggest plays from our tight end this year has been drag routes, and one of those was Ferguson's drop catch. So when you think about it, like, you need to bring the guys across the middle. To your point, the seam routes. I don't care if you ever throw a seam route to a tight end. I need if you're gonna play dropping defense, I need you to drop those linebackers back.
Right.
And we're just not doing enough with the.
And Ferguson did a seam. He did a seam route in the preseason when was it Cooper Rush threw it to him?
Oh yeah, and it was
Are
pretty.
you talking preseason?
Yeah.
Peyton Hendershot did it week 1, and it should have been a touchdown. So I mean, we know that the play works. You just got to catch it. Like that's, and the Titans have 5 drops this year. That's an issue too. Like they got to earn the quarterback's trust and the play caller's trust. But again, if they can't, then get them off the field. Obviously, in running situations, you need them, but in passing situations, pull them until they produce.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point too. When you're talking about a QB trusting you, one of the biggest places on the field you got to have trust is the middle of the field. And if they've had these drops, then that might be a bit of why they are not, putting them in those positions. But if you wanted to make it easier on your wide receivers, your run game, everybody, get your tight ends involved and start working the middle of the field. Like that's something that's really missing, and it's also going to help in the red zone a lot too, man.
10-4.
I've already coined a name for Shoemaker, and they're not letting me live up to that name.
That's true. Drop the name.
Drag King. He is the Drag King.
Shut up, Mary. Shut up.
Listen
Y'all are going to jail. Every single one of y'all. Look at Dom's face.
She said,
Dom's like, I have no affiliation with this. I work at a school.
And at a church.
Yeah. All right, let's move over here to the Knicks picks. We got college football and the Spoonie sermon. What were the Knicks picks this week?
You're getting them ready.
Well, first off, we have to go with history. So I have no idea how he did week 1 and 2. We need to figure that out. But last week, Knicks was 5-6. Pretty good. The one that he missed, a lot of people in the chat missed. I called it right for the record, but Knicks missed the Colorado-Oregon game, and we took it just as the spread. I thought that Colorado would not cover the spread. I didn't expect it to be that ugly, and I don't think a lot of people did. But it is what it is. That was a rough one. However, Knicks was 5-6, and that's a really good percentage. So this week, we're going to start with college football. Actually, no, we're going to start with NFL. First London game of the year. We have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville is the home team because they're London's their home away from home. They're a 3-point favorite, so basically even as the home team. Knicks, who's winning that game?
It's London, baby. It's Jacksonville. Jacksonville gets the dub.
Shut your ass up.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
So Jacksonville Jaguars are winning.
That sounds like some abuse over there. Let me get these last for Aisha. That sounds like some abuse.
Nah, man.
Over there?
Nah, y'all's nephew is loud, man. This cat is loud. I'm sorry, y'all.
It's all good. Go right ahead, though.
I got Falcons in that one.
Okay.
Hey, the feline didn't like the
first one. Jacksonville Jaguars over the Falcons, according to Knicks. She didn't. She was like, pick the Falcons. Second pick. Baltimore Ravens versus the Cleveland Browns. Both teams are 2-1. The Browns are a 1.5 home favorite, 1.5 point home favorite. So basically, the Ravens are actually favored on the road.
Yeah.
This is Nick's pick, bro. We'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Got to get Nick's in first.
Crispy bacon. Kitty just wants some barnacles. LOL. Yeah. Oh, killing no more. Whoa. Don't snitch though. I got Pete on speed dial. Calm down.
Nah, my grandchild taken care of, y'all. He just
Yeah.
loud.
Oh yeah, I know how you do. But no, man. Look, quietly kept. Cleveland has a top 5 defense, and I
They're
don't think
good.
they're not getting nearly enough credit. Honestly, I might put them the number 2 defense in the league right now behind San Francisco. They're having that kind of impact, and boy, there's a lot of injuries over there for Baltimore. I got Cleveland, man. I think Cleveland wins this game.
Cleveland Browns. All right, one-handed bandit. Want to get you a chance because you wanted to talk about that game. Who are you picking?
I got Cleveland just because of Miles Garrett, bro. I think it was last week where he kept going back and forth, and the offense kept moving whoever was blocking him to Miles Garrett's side and then they had to call a timeout because he kept going to the left, to the right. Miles Garrett's unstoppable. He's crazy good.
Bruce, the Cowboys
All
are
right,
not connected to Devontae Adams. Sorry.
That's not that. Devontae Adams is not coming here. So Mendoza has Ravens. Everybody else in the chat agrees with Knicks and one-handed bandit.
I have Ravens with
Browns is
Mendoza.
your pick.
I have Ravens with Mendoza.
Okay.
I'm in good company then. I'm
Okay,
definitely 2-0.
Mary Mendoza. Yeah. Hey. Third game. New York Giants versus the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are a 1.5 point favorite on the road.
Yeah. Don't care. Don't care. Seattle's winning. Don't care. Not believing in Daniel Jones. Seattle
Kind of feels like not necessarily a must win for the Giants, but it's getting pretty close now. Like that's a game you really can't afford to lose. In conference, you're 1-2 already. Like they kind of have to win that game. So you're taking the Seahawks.
Cool. Me too.
All right. Now we're gonna get into our college games, and then that's a perfect segue into our college football games to watch this week.
There it is. Setting it up.
Number 8, USC. Eddie-O, we can't talk about this because we're going to talk college football with you in a second. Knicks.
Yeah.
Number 8, USC versus Colorado. It is also a 21.5 point spread for USC. Are you taking Colorado to beat the spread this time?
Yes. I'm not learning my lesson. I say, look, Eddie-O had me up super late. We're watching USC. Damn these West Coast late night games. We're in the space, and boy, USC tried to drop it over here to Arizona State. They cover. But my lock solid pick. Colorado will cover this week. That's where I'm at. I'm doubling down.
Oh my god!
My one goal last week. I'm doubling down this week. They're going to cover.
Wing bet.
Okay.
I think we need an Eddie and Nick's wing bet on this game.
Whoa. We'll talk about the space. Calm down, guys.
Knicks pick number 5. Knicks picks number 5. Number 13 LSU versus number 20 Ole Miss.
Ooh.
Man, I don't trust LSU's head coach. I don't. However, I don't trust Ole Miss's head coach. No, however, I trust him more than Ole Miss's head coach. Give me LSU.
Okay. Yeah. Dave Hellman is smiling. Brian Broaddus are smiling right now hearing that conversation. That comment. All right, last one, and this is a fun one. This is a game. Texas is favored, but you have number 3 Texas. Are they back? Versus number 24 Kansas.
Yeah.
Kansas 24?
Yeah.
Number 24.
Kansas the thing.
They're undefeated.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not going all the way to Texas is back. That's terrible stuff to get to. But I do believe Texas gets this job done.
Yeah.
I think Texas gets the job done.
All right.
Texas wins.
Recapping the real quick for you guys. Jacksonville Jaguars over the Falcons according to Knicks. Cleveland Browns over the Ravens according to Knicks. Seattle Seahawks over the Giants according to Knicks. Colorado beating the spread. Won't win that game, but beating the spread. LSU over Ole Miss. And then Texas over Kansas. So those are your picks. He is 5 of 6 last week. If you want to put some money on it, trust Knicks. He's doing good at this.
So far. And I'll go back and get those other ones because I'm damn near undefeated in the first 2 weeks. I'm getting all my numbers so I can take some L's and be okay still. I'll do the due diligence on the research. I can trust me.
Okay.
Right-handed.
All right, so we'll talk college football real quick. And then we will end it with our Spoonie sermon and our play of the game. Play of the game in this.
I'll be right back. I'll let y'all talk the college football. I'll be right back.
Cool. Let's go. All right, Eddie, I'm so glad that you're here because one of the games I wrote down is number 8 USC. I feel like they should be higher than that personally, but they're number 8 versus Colorado. Who are the USC players that might potentially be Cowboys draftable players? So obviously not a Caleb Williams, but is there anybody else you want to spotlight on your team that might be a good potential pick for us, or on Colorado that could be a good fit for us?
Well, we like wide receivers that kind of came from Colorado. He's no longer on that team. He's on USC. But Brendan Rice, also the son of Jerry Rice, elite athlete, big body, can stretch the field, plays physical. He's a guy that I would definitely watch. That's draftable this year. On the defense, I don't have a lot of players on the defense that's draftable. But Kalen
I was going to
Bullock
bring this name up. Perfect.
Yeah,
you brought it up
Bullock
exactly the right time. Perfect.
is probably the best cover corner or cover safety in college football. He's the rangiest guy. He's probably the closest thing to like an elite playmaker in the secondary since Malik Hooker.
He's like 6'2", 6'3", right? He's got pretty good size.
6'3", 195 pounds. The only thing about him, kind of like Hooker, tackling was a little bit of an issue. He's added some good weight. He's gotten a little bit better at tackling. But I think he needs to add another 10 or so pounds before he enters the league. But it's not a lack of want to. He'll go downhill and try to hit someone. He's just a little light in the pants, per se.
How about Shane Lee? Mendoza wants to know about Shane Lee.
Shane Lee, a lot of promise we had for him. Not really it. Not good in coverage at all. And he's not as physical as you would want from your middle linebacker.
What about Eric Gentry?
Eric Gentry needs another year of college football. He's about 6'7", playing linebacker.
He's small though, right? He's
about
light though, right?
210 pounds.
Wow.
So he's an anomaly for the position. I mean, for football, when you really think about it, outside of like O-line, tight end, and maybe a quarterback, Brock Osweiler. But for a linebacker, he's just super tall, but doesn't have enough weight.
Before we move off of that game, is there anybody in the panel that has a question or has a player in that matchup they're interested in spotlighting? If not, that's okay. I know Eddie covered.
Well, I have a player to
You
watch.
talked Colorado already.
What game?
Who's that? Colorado, USC.
The most electrifying
Eddie cook.
player in all of college football is Zachariah Branch. He's a true freshman. If you're watching the game, watch out for number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next game I want to talk about is the Kansas-Texas game. So we've talked Texas several times already. Counselor said, yeah, we spent almost 2 hours talking about that.
Yeah.
This is our quick college football segment. We do it every single Friday. So if you haven't tuned in, our Friday night shows at the very end of it, we mentioned some college games to spotlight. If you're wondering who maybe draft potential players the Cowboys could look at, so you know them several months before anybody else talks about them, we talk about it every Friday night. So that's what this segment is. It'll be quick. But Texas versus Kansas, there's a few names I think are worth spotlighting on that. We've already talked about Quinn Ewers. We've already talked about Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell, and some of the other guys. We talked about the big defensive tackle they have. Jatavian Sanders. So that's a name that we haven't spent a lot of time talking about. I don't know if tight end is a realistic position for us to draft. However, dude's 6'4", 240-ish, already has 268 receiving yards. He's averaging like 22 yards per catch, which is crazy for a tight end. So he's worth mentioning. And then they have a linebacker named Jalen Ford. Obviously, linebacker is a position that is important to us right now. He's 6'3", 240-ish. I don't know that I would say he's necessarily a thumper, but for his size, he's a sound tackler and decent enough in coverage. I think he's a name to keep an eye on. As of right now, if I was guessing, I'd say he's probably around 4, 5-ish guy, which probably feels right for when the Cowboys might look at it. You think he's even earlier?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think more end of 3, early 4.
Okay, cool. So those are the two guys I'd mentioned that we haven't already talked about. Is there anybody on the Texas side you guys would mention? And then on the Kansas side, it's really the running back, Devin Neal. Again, I don't know that we'll necessarily draft the running back, but with Tony Pollard being on the franchise tag, worth keeping an eye on. He already has almost 400 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. He's basically their offense. I think he's number 4. So that's what to watch out for on the Kansas side. But do you guys have anybody you want to touch on that game?
Well, I mean, I was going to say, apparently we need to be looking at all quarterbacks according to one of our 3 the fan. Psych. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like some of the agenda stuff today. Sorry. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's every
Sorry.
time. No, they do that.
I'll put that was I'll put the lights on me for that one.
No, it
Sorry.
wasn't petty. It's kind of.
To be fair, I drafted 3 quarterbacks in a 3-round mock draft just to figure out maybe we can land one of them, according to all the nonsense.
Aisha, I'm sorry. Aisha's like, shit, I gotta go. My fault.
I can't be a part of this.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Aisha. I'm sorry. My faux pas.
Yeah, we talked AD Mitchell and Xavier Worthy already. Jadavian, we haven't really talked about, so that's why I brought him up. But if you guys in the chat have players you want us to keep an eye on, feel free to do that at this segment. Go ahead, Dom.
Yeah, I was about to say the whole AD Mitchell quote. Like, in the preseason and camps and all that, like he was playing like their most well-rounded receiver. And coming into the season, he may not have been a guy you take in the second round, but he's starting to inch his way into that day 2 discussion. So he is a guy that you definitely need to look out for the Longhorns. But they're starting to finally develop guys in the trenches. And so Christian Jones, he's been there for years, it seems. He's a 4-year starter for him, been there for, I think, 5 years. Maybe this is his 6th year. So you're talking about end of the roster kind of depth where NFL teams, their rosters churn all the time. 30% of your roster going to look different the next year. So he's maybe one of those guys we can get, stash, and see how he develops.
You know, can I say this real quick? I saw, puzzling enough, and not Eddie O's mock draft. Okay, pause. It was weird. I'm like, we're going into week 4. Man, I saw a lot of mock drafts pop up for the Cowboys and talk about linebacker and different things. I was like, okay, guys, look, I love me some mock drafting. Don't get it wrong, but I'm like, oh man, I don't know.
Where were they putting our pick at?
Too soon. I don't know what you put it at. No? 18.
It's at 18.
18. That's where it's at right now. So,
man.
Interesting enough. I mean, it's fun, but I was like,
It actually excited me.
It was something else that excited me as well today too. I was mad. I'm sorry, y'all. I came off being sick. Things were kind of happening around the way. I was mad. I was ready to be in hoodie Knicks mode. I don't want to be. I don't want to be this mad in week 3.
I blame Dom. I blame Dom for my mock draft because Dom did a mock draft and it made me start thinking, oh, maybe I should do one.
That's what.
Dom's getting all the smoke tonight.
Sorry, Dom. I had to throw you under the bus.
Sorry, we're not mock drafting.
Sounds fun.
We're not mock drafting. We're literally just talking about games to watch this weekend. If you're not a college fan, you don't know what game to watch.
I'm off the tangent.
Armchair pulled that up. Armchair pulled it up, so I'm just letting him know. If you don't know, that's what this segment is. If you're not a college football fan, or even if you are and you want some other names to keep an eye on aside from your team, that's what we're doing right now. Notre Dame, number 11 versus number 17, Duke. So, you mentioned in the chat, we need offensive linemen. Duke has an offensive lineman who is not only draftable, I think he's going to go in the first 2 rounds. Yeah, it's going to be Graham Barton. Dom, have you had a chance to check him out yet?
I need him to move inside the guard.
I agree.
Because of the length, but I mean, he's so quick. He reminds me of Bergeron. Just a super athletic guy. He's able to get into any kind of block, whether it's traps, counters. He's got nice feet. But I think if you move him inside and bulk him up just a little bit, I think that's where his value is best.
Well, here's the other thing, too, for Notre Dame. If you put 11 guys on defense, you might have beat Ohio State the final 2 plays. So just make sure you have 11 guys on defense against Duke this week, and that'll be great. Because they should
not have lost
undefeated. They should not have lost that game. But, boy, you missed it once, and how do you miss it the second time? My goodness. But, the old saying, Notre Dame gonna Dame.
That's one of those things too. Like coaches the coaches see that on the field. They know that they have 10 players out there. You got to call timeout, tell your team to jump off sides, do something, and the players have to be responsible for that too. Somebody has to be accountable for like, hey, I ran off the field and no one came on.
Dot, yeah. Somebody's got somebody. That was just they should have won that game. Terrible for them. Could have been a very big win for them. And I like Notre Dame this year. I think Notre Dame. I picked them to beat Notre Dame. I guess Notre Dame did beat Notre Dame. But no, I had them beating Ohio State. I thought they were going to beat them, and they should have. But boy, you just can't have that mental lapse there. Yeah. Can't have that mental lapse there.
Yeah.
Anything else college
Yeah.
football? We got another college football game, Mo?
The game, the
Yes,
one
yes.
that
Go ahead, Dom. Go ahead, Dom.
I've given you some pretty good ones as far as they've been good matchups. And to me, this week, the one I'm most looking forward to, there aren't any like main draft prospects. Just a good game. It's Kentucky versus Georgia, or it's Kentucky versus Florida.
Okay.
Because man, I just remember as a kid watching that series. Man, Florida just murdered them week or year after year. In fact, they won 31 straight against them from 1987 all the way to 2017, 31 straight. But then finally, the Stoops era came to Kentucky, and now Kentucky has won the last 3 out of the 5. They've won the last 2. So I'm wondering, can a 4-0 Kentucky team finally keep that momentum going? They're unranked right now in the AP poll. But Florida, they're right there sitting at 3-1. So I just want to see how is that going to go, because they're somewhat of rivals, and Kentucky has always felt like a little brother. So can you bow up again? And then Ricky Pearsall, I got to bring him up from Florida. That's a guy in the back channels. I shot him to y'all a few weeks back saying, man, look at this guy, just his route running ability. And then he had the amazing catch last week. So Florida's got some guys up front. But I think it's going to be a nice game to watch. So keep your eyes on the Gators versus the Wildcats.
Real quick, Aisha.
One point
I was
spread,
going to give her a chance. I want to give her quick. Aisha had to take care of the kids, the kitty cat and everything else. So Hungry Fussy said, thanks for having me on. And Aisha, wish I could give you a chance to give you a proper shout out before you left. But thank you so much. You're always welcome to me on Fridays. You already know, girl. Thank you, Double I.
Kentucky left tackle Marquez Cox as well, according to Mendoza.
Oh.
And again, that's a 1-point spread. You have a 22nd ranked Florida who's 3-1, had an ugly loss week 1, bounced back the last 2 weeks, and they're playing an undefeated Kentucky. Kentucky will definitely be in the top 25 if they win that game. They may just swap spots, but 1-point spread. Kentucky's home, so throwing that out there. The last game that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, because I want to save my game for the end anyways. Go ahead.
Well, this might be it, so I might spoil it. So
That's
if you
all right.
want to go.
No. Spoil it. Let's see if you nail it.
Am I the only one that thinks South Carolina versus Tennessee seems to be a very interesting matchup?
It is.
I agree with you, Eddie.
It is very interesting.
Did you bring up Tennessee?
Yeah, Tennessee's
Yes.
good.
Yeah,
South
Carolina, Tennessee.
after Dom's heart. After Dom's
Like,
heart
he
over
hated-
there.
Dom
my
hates
teams.
the tackles.
Balls gonna
Dom
ball.
hates the tackles for Tennessee for some reason.
No. I'm up, man.
I know you do.
Man.
We need Edio and Rohit to talk about this because Rohit seems like he's interested in that matchup too. So wanna
I
make sure he
just
gets a
think
chance.
that we haven't really seen South Carolina play a full game. They've played spurts where they're really good, and Tennessee
They
is
should've
like
beaten
one of
Georgia.
those teams like they're either on or they're off, kind of like offensively. So it'd be very interesting to see if we can get Tennessee to play a good game and we can get South Carolina to play a full game. Those teams are kind of like on the same tier. Tennessee's maybe slightly ahead traditionally, but I think that's a fascinating game to watch this weekend if you're up for some college football.
They need revenge too because Tennessee got destroyed by South Carolina last year too.
Oh
When
yeah,
Tennessee
I forgot
was
about
right
that.
there.
Yeah.
They were right there, and Spencer Rattler had literally the best game of his college football career so far against Tennessee. So that's a really good matchup. Rohit, you seem like you wanted to talk about that game too.
Yeah,
You have
so
any
that's
thoughts you want to share?
The Spencer Rattler is the reason why I'm interested in South Carolina because I know if anyone's watched my tweets about the quarterbacks this year in college football, I've been all over the place on Rattler himself because everyone's evaluations on him have fluctuated for the last 2 years ever since he had that one breakout season with Oklahoma. But he's looked at times this year. He's looked much improved. So I just want to see him continue to put it together and have one a full game where he's able to impress because he's got the tools to be a day one prospect, and so I just want to see him continue to get better, and that's a game I'm going to be watching tomorrow.
Go ahead, Dom.
South Carolina has one of the worst offensive lines in
This is
college
true.
football.
This is
And
true.
it's sad for him because this was the year you felt, if they can put some things together and protect him, like he could be able to raise his draft stock. And maybe NFL teams is able to see that and look beyond the woes that South Carolina's offense is right now. But man, they are going to. Oh Lord, it's just a terrible unit. So it is still going to be a good matchup because exactly what Eddie said. Tennessee is going to Tennessee. The ball's going to ball. They do it 2 times a year where they just absolutely lay an egg. So there's potential where it could happen for a second straight season, but because of the blowout last year, I think they're going to come out and perform, keep that high performing offense on the field. Just go right down the field, score first, jump up early, and start to get the Gamecocks to feel like here we go again.
Well, to your point too, not only has their offensive line did that, but Juice Wells, a guy that a lot of us like, has been injured. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy. I have to give a quick shout out. I know Mendoza's mentioned him, several other people have too, but Xavier Legette, he's 6'3". He's had one of the best seasons in college football so far. He's been super legit, so you have to imagine if they had Juice Wells and Xavier Legette, at the same time with any semblance of an offensive line, like that South Carolina team might be pretty dangerous in the SEC. But I want to end this segment real quick on a team I haven't had a chance to talk about yet. I'm wearing the shirt today. I've saved Georgia Bulldogs, so we haven't played anybody at all worth talking about. But we actually have a decent matchup. Got Georgia Bulldogs versus the Auburn Tigers. It's a 14.5-point spread. This game could be pretty meaningful. This game, I have to admit, I'm a little bit worried about based on how we've played so far. We haven't looked as dominant as I was expecting. But Georgia has several draft-worthy players that fit positions of need for the Cowboys, so it's definitely worth mentioning, and I haven't had a chance to give you good matchups to watch. But Georgia has tackle Marius Mims. He's had some injury issues. He's missed the last 2 weeks. I don't think he's going to play this week, but we'll have to see how – I guess we'll find out tomorrow, but I think they're going to sit him one more game. But he's a 6'7", 340-pound tackle. He's played right tackle. So does he fit the Cowboys? Maybe not, because he hasn't been a left tackle in college football yet. But he's a guy that a lot of people, including Dane Brugler, are high on. But they have a center. Had a chance to meet this gentleman. Super, really, really, really cool guy. Cedric Van Pran. In my opinion, he's the best center in football. He's a big dude, 6'4", 310-ish, got good size, does a really good job of moving downfield, picking up blocks and screens, getting to the next level. Something Dom wanted to talk about. I want to give Dom a chance to shout him out in just a second. But there's another name I want to mention to you guys really quickly. Obviously not Brock Bowers. He's going to go too early. But they have a linebacker, number 2, Smile Munden. Great name. First off, who doesn't want a linebacker named Smile? Right. Second, he has good range. Fits a lot of the mold that you saw with like a Quay Walker and similar linebackers in the past from Georgia. But he's 6'3", 225, so he's kind of that new mold of linebacker size for the NFL. If you're looking for more of like your Mike linebacker, that's going to be Dumas Johnson. He's number 10. He's a little bit shorter, 6'1", but he's a little bit heavier in like the 235, 240-ish range. There's other players, but those are probably the more draft-worthy guys that are in the Cowboys draft range that also fit positions of need. So we'll talk about other guys later, but that's all I got for this week for Georgia Bulldogs. Go ahead, Dom.
Yeah, I mean, Van Pran is a guy that, you and Marcus Jones, y'all have always been high on Van Pran. And he's a guy that I initially was not high on at all at the beginning of the year last year. But over that season, you start to see the strides and the improvements made by him. And so you're thinking about a guy who's a pretty big center for the position. And then you wonder, can he do some flex where, you can play a little bit of guard, and we know how our team values that position of flex. So I like his movement skills. I like his overall strength. I think he's already big enough where you're not trying to load him up on a peanut butter in a full off season. Mm-hmm. So this is a big year for him. If he can stay healthy, if he can also show the ability to fight off guys whenever they have the counterattacks, and then not get tricked by, the delayed things, because there are a couple of looping actions where it kind of got to him. So I want him to improve his vision. As long as he can do that, he's going to be a prospect that starts to climb the boards. Because right now, some of the most respected guys out there in the game who do this stuff 24/7, 365, they're not as high as on Van Pran. So I'm shocked, because I would assume that he would have been at least, second, maybe around there with Bryce Foster of Texas A&M as one of the best centers in football. But both of those guys seem to be down on the list on some of these other respected guys' boards.
10-4.
Keep in mind, Tyler, be honest. Contract year. We don't know. We'll have to see what happens there.
He's the only one out there waving in the wind a little bit. But the old franchise tag coming to play. But
Brock ready for that.
I like it. All right, that wraps up the college section for this Friday. Spoonie's been very patient. He's over there collecting his thoughts. He didn't want to speak on the college too much, I say. Spoonie, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've not caught one yet, it's time. The floor is all yours, sir. Go right ahead. The Spoonie sermon for week 4.
In 95, the last time the Cowboys won a championship, we lost to the Washington Redskins. We got swept by them. Okay, they finished the season at 6-10 with only 2 Pro Bowlers, Ken Harvey and Brian Westbrook. That year, the Cowboys sent 10 players to the Pro Bowl, and Emmitt Smith made the All-Pro, first team that year. Now, why am I bringing that up? Well, we lost to the Arizona Cardinals last week. All of a sudden, some Cowboy fans, not all, some, started panicking, want to switch teams, get certain guys traded, X, Y, and Z, calling it a travesty. You know what's a travesty? Right now in Brooklyn, New York, if I want to go outside to the bodega and get me a bottle of water, I got to swim. I got to scuba dive to the bodega. That's a travesty. Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell getting cheated on by Kelly with that dude Jefferson, that was a travesty. Okay? Al Bundy selling shoes since summer youth, that's a travesty. Okay? Topanga from Boy Meets World, not answering my letters, Topanga. I love you, Topanga. That was a travesty.
Thanks.
Cowboys losing to the Arizona Cardinals is not a travesty. You know what's a travesty? Some of you fans are a travesty. Some of you brand new fans who came across this great team of becoming Dallas Cowboy fans, the way y'all think, some of y'all are a travesty. You're not made to root for the star. But you're made to be a cheerleader. Maybe shop at a different location when you know how a female has a monthly thing and you go to that aisle. You know, a lot of guys don't want to go to that aisle, but the female does. Maybe that's the aisle you need to start walking on to shop. You know, understand? Because why? You're moaning, you're crying, oh my God, it's a travesty. Y'all are a travesty. When the Cowboys lost to the Washington Redskins, we didn't play patty cake with the Philadelphia Eagles fan. We didn't compare player versus player. Hell, if you want some clicks in Twitter, grow your shit. Say the right things. Don't keep saying the wrong thing. Stop listening to stupidity when it comes to these guys in the four-letter networks. We're talking about Jalen Hurts. Got 3 interceptions. I don't see nobody talking about it. So why should you talk about Dak throwing 1 interception? Why are we still harping the fact that we lost to the Cardinals? It happens. We wasn't going 17-0, but hey, it doesn't say because we lost to them that we will not reach our goal. And our goal is in February. The goal still stands. 1 game at a time, 1 step at a time, 1 ass kicking at a time. We'll bring it to the point, Mac Jones. Since you like grabbing nuts on the field, you better hold on to that ball like it's a damn nut because we're taking that nut from you.
Oh, pause.
Oh, all right.
Understand?
Get the police out.
We will not talk. We don't let this shit hang. Just like Miss Mary said. So, Mac Jones, Pick a nut you want to grab because we're coming after you. Service is done.
Did I say that?
Hey, yo.
I don't know what you said.
Wow.
I just have to point out, Spoonie started out the show talking about Little Mermaid references with that play.
Kelly
Then he
Kapowski.
went to Boy Meets World. Then he went to Saved by the Bell. All great 90s movies and shows. You know what else was great in the 90s? The Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are winning the Super Bowl. Confirmed. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Pass the plate. Pass the plate.
I love the way it just transitioned. It was like, this is where we're starting.
There's layers to it. You know, from the very beginning, who's been rocking with us for a long time, it was the Spoonies Minute. And then we had to turn it into the Spoonies Sermon. And just watching how Spoonie has layered these things this year. Look, this has been this is the hottest 4 Spoonie sermon run of all time. Of all time. That he is, I'm telling you, man. So you're in the bag, sir. You are all the way in your
bag for sure.
No ifs
Yes,
or buts
like
about it.
like TC915 said, if you've been listening the whole time, or even a little bit of the show, and we haven't earned your like yet, hopefully that earned your like. If nothing, if that wasn't like worthy, nothing we're gonna do is ever gonna be like worthy. I'm just saying.
Yeah. If you like anything, Spoonie saved it. And if you don't appreciate the Spoonie sermon, I'm putting cases on all you people in the chat. All you people in the chat.
Pelican Bay. Pelican Bay.
Pelican Bay. 23-hour lockdown. Okay.
I think Spoonie over here chat GPT and they silent. There's some AI going on.
I don't know if Chat GPT got that verbiage. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if they got that verbiage.
You know, Key and Peele, you know, whenever he played Obama, but he had his Luther.
Yeah.
Who could just like speak top plain for him. Man, son. You my Luther, man. You my Luther.
Yeah. I'm over there just casually grubbing a little bit. Love it. Man, once again, man, we appreciate everybody, man. 2 hours and almost 30 minutes, man. And we have been strong the entire time in that 40-50 range, just building this thing up, man. Big shout out to Double I, Aisha Morrison coming through. Girls Talk, Boys Talk, Cowboys.com. Make sure y'all are on that. Rowan coming through. Appreciate you, brother. One-handed as well. Squad Nation, aka Mr. Eddie O. My guys, I hope you down over on the Twitter Spaces. Appreciate y'all coming through. Yeah. And I mean, we had a guy earlier. Unfortunately, we lost connection, whatever.
Charlie Dukas or something.
Hopefully, Charlie Dukas, man. Hey, by all means, man. Next time, don't be afraid. Come back up, and like y'all can see, man. Whether you have your camera on or not, it's all good, man. This is what the Friday is about. We like to get into it, talk about these things, and hear from y'all. You know, Wednesday we deliver the package to y'all, but we want to open it up consistently for y'all as we grow this brand and do everything else. And once again, man, it's free to tell a friend to tell a friend. We're over 1,300. We would like to build this up throughout the season and see if we can we crack $2,000 this year? You know, can we crack $2,000? All right. We've definitely got a good little surge this year so far. So really trying to push the narrative forward. And we're looking to add more content to the channel as well, too. I know we're live on Wednesdays and Fridays, but we're looking to do some other things, too. If y'all are enjoying the college talk, honestly, let us know. And we might pivot and do something on the other side of that, too. If we need to expand that and y'all enjoy that, there's some things that we can do. And we've had some conversations on the back end. You know, for us, it's about what we love doing, but it's also about delivering the content that y'all want as well, too. So critique us. Let us know what you like, you know, and whatever. And we'll try to mold this thing to give you the best experience when you're tuned into us and spend. I mean, Friday night, you could be doing anything. Y'all's over here rocking with us, man. So big salute to the chat. Big salute to all the guests. We appreciate everything. Again, 2.5 hours. Let me spin the block, though. As always, one-handed. Your last word for this evening.
Hey, man. Let's go into Dallas. Let's go into our home, and let's go beat the New England Patriots, man. All right. Zeke can have his little moment for the game, and he's our enemy. We're going to go out there. We're going to squash him, move on to San Fran. That's it.
All right. There it is. Tune-up game. I like it. Rohit, last word for the night for you, brother.
If you're in this fan base, you got to back, and you got to cheer for Zeke to get a negative 100 yards on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Big facts. Eddie O, last word for you tonight.
Look, this weekend's going to be a great weekend. not only am I going to have a nice little chit chat with Nick tonight about some wing bets, and we're going to have to get this W tomorrow.
I'm up though. I'm way up on my wing bets, sir.
Hey, you might be way down with me after tonight.
All right, we'll see.
Talk to him, Eddie.
But no, tomorrow's going to be a good day, and then Sunday we're going to cap it off with a Cowboys win. I don't care how they win, by how much they win. Let's just get the win. Let's get the momentum kind of going upward. Last week was not a good week, but guess what? This is a new week. Let's make it great.
Big facts, big facts. Spoonie, your last word for the night.
Be better, Cowboy Nation. We got to support this team better than the way we done these last couple of weeks, and let's dominate, celebrate.
Dom bringing the snacks to the table and brought out a Jalen Smith jersey. Nasty work over there from Dom.
Nasty
work from Dom tonight. I need like three police tonight lights too. What you got for us, Dom? Last word for tonight, brother.
Yeah, I mean, last word really is more of encouragement for everybody to. You just never know what people are going through in the world, and so just be kind to people. And the big thing is, your life is not your own. So start to think outside of your own little world. Look around you. You can always help somebody out. I was just thinking about our brother Nick's being down and out this week, then all of a sudden get the news, married too, not feeling so well. So these people here on the screen, y'all don't realize how much they uplift and encourage each other behind the scenes. And so shout out to everybody on the panel. And you might be interacting with somebody that definitely needs just a kind, encouraging word. And it could be a total stranger. So your life is not your own.
And it costs you nothing to be nice. It's free 99.
X.
Remember that. And Dom, also, you came here and filmed the sword. I'm going to salute you for that. You said, I wasn't here Friday. We lost. So we already know you can't be out no more Fridays the rest of the way. In one final, putting the case on you for being out and causing us to take that out. One final one. Mary, good to see you back up and running again, of course. Your final word for this Friday.
Yeah, it was a hard week. Cowboys lost and then wasn't feeling good. Same thing with Knicks. But I'm happy to be back. I always miss y'all when I'm not around. And going to the game this week for the second home game against the Patriots. If you see me out, if you see me at a game, you see me at a tailgate, say hi. I had people message me on Twitter that they saw me and was like, I wasn't sure if I should say anything. Say something. I'm fun. I'm nice. I'm the same. I'm crazy. I'm the same way. So just
she might get turned up and be on top of a table tomorrow. Yeah. We told y'all.
Yeah. I'm the same. I'm small. I'm little, but I got a big mouth. Okay.
Dynamite comes in small packages.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So say hi and come at me if we win this game and we win by big. Come at me. Be like, I told you, Mary. I told you. Let me know.
TC said this here because you a gangster, Mary. That's the problem. Professor O, final word for you, sir.
All right, I was gonna go a completely different way with this, but then Dom gave us this uplifting speech about being nice. What I was gonna say was not nice at all, so I'm gonna be nice. Let's go, Cowboys! But what the hell is a McCorkle? Come on, man!
Big facts. Yeah, man, it's pretty simple. Once again, I want to give another shout out, man. I had so many people inbox me and at me and stuff while I was sick this week. I appreciate y'all. It helped me power through, man. Salute to everybody that reached out to me, my fam here, and then others, even from the cusp that I didn't know that paid attention. That I got some inboxes from people that I didn't expect, and it uplifted me. It meant a lot to me, and I definitely appreciate that. I want to echo, and Dom, I'm going to put you on Front Street a little bit because you had a situation and some roundabout things in life came back around, and salute to you, brother. It speaks a lot why our vibe is so good in that situation, what you're stepping into, man. I just want to give you the props and your flowers on that and what you're doing on that back end on that. Oh, one more week, we're getting you out of that cast, and then we're really going to turn this thing up for sure. And that thumb.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Look at this movement. Look at this movement, people. Look at this.
Look at that.
It's moving.
Hold on. Bring up the other picture. This is O. Oh,
yeah.
Thumbs up. Bring up the other picture. This is O right now. See the thumbs up. Yeah, there it is. It's home right now. But yeah, man, make sure if you haven't let the Pro Sports Fan app, make sure you download it. Me and Lando will be live streaming, live reactions to the game on Sunday. Don't miss out. I will not wear the bucket hat this week. The halftime I had to go change the bucket hat. We played better in the second half. I was told the bucket hat is banned during the games. I will not have the bucket hat on this week. Come over there. We'll have a fun time on that side for sure. We just cracked 400 into the Cowboys chat. We're looking to get to 500 before Sunday. Fun times over there. Don't talk about the freestyle squad. Calm down. Neither here nor there. Not that, never mind. But as always, very simple. No matter what, man. Cowboys took an L. Cool. You're 16 and we were 17-0 till we're not. Okay, cool. We're now 16-1 till we're not. And outside of that, hey, you take the L, it's always forward no matter what, man. So no matter what's going on in your life, it is always forward. Pick it up, move forward. Enjoy your weekend, and let's go Cowboys and get to this 3-1. And then we get to talk Niners next week. Bonesaw is ready because I'm going to have him for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime. Have a good weekend, everybody.
All right.